talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Vicki Barker. Did U.S. commanders order a second strike on a suspected Venezuelan drug smuggling boat in order to pick off wounded survivors of the first one? The White House isn't saying that's why that second assault was called, though it continues to justify the policy.
The president has made it quite clear that if narco-terrorists, again, are trafficking illegal drugs towards the United States, he has the authority to kill them. And that's what this administration is doing.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. But there's killing and there's killing, says CBS News military consultant Jeff McCausland, himself a retired U.S. Army colonel.
The two-tap strikes against survivors are completely illegal, even if these were enemy combatants. If these were al-Qaeda people floating in the water, it would be just as illegal for us to attack them if they were defenseless and had survived an attack.
A U.S. special envoy is in Moscow to present President Trump's revised peace plan for Ukraine.
Steve Witkoff is going to arrive at the Kremlin, where he's going to meet Vladimir Putin. You would expect the Kremlin to push back. We've seen very little movement from its own red lines, and then perhaps it will end up in the Ukrainians' in tray once more.
The BBC's James Waterhouse. Ukraine's President Zelensky is accusing Russia of using today's talks to get sanctions relaxed. Did money from Minnesota's welfare programs find its way to a Somali terror group? CBS's Michael Wallace has that.
The conservative publication City Journal reported millions in taxpayer dollars went to the al-Qaeda affiliate al-Shabaab. President Trump is ending deportation protections for Somali immigrants in Minnesota.
Hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state.
Trump used a slur for a mentally challenged person to describe Governor Tim Walz, accusing him of doing nothing about the alleged fraud. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
It should have been a shoo-in, but CBS's congressional correspondent Nicole Killian says today's special election in Tennessee's 7th congressional district is turning into a nail-biter for Republicans.
It's very competitive, and that's what makes this unexpected. Tennessee is a red state. This particular district was won by President Trump by 20 plus points, and now this special election is potentially within the margin of error, according to some polls.
Republican Matt Van Epps is facing Democrat Afton Bain to replace former Republican Congressman Mark Green. And breaking news in the fashion world.
By Prada.
In a deal that could relaunch Versace's flagging fortunes, the Prada Group has officially purchased its Milan fashion rival for nearly $1.4 billion. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
At 6:03, we have cloudy skies and 23 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. It is Tuesday, December 2nd. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Snow-covered roads. Let's get right back out to Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we do have trouble spots around the area with the road conditions not being optimal. The good news is they cleared the crash eastbound 70 at TRU. Still a little backed up traffic right around Highway K. We do have a crash. They were clearing North 55 north of Merrimack Bottom. They sent EMS for the one North 270 between Olive and Page. We got one off the roadway, westbound 44 down the west side of the entire hill. And there's also an incident westbound 70. It looks like EMS responded right at the Bermuda exit. And we'll have more in traffic at 6:10.
We're working. They're doing what they can. They get things treated. They're getting plowed off the road as best they can.
That wasn't enough to prevent the hundreds of accidents and calls for service during yesterday's snow. MoDOT's Bob Becker admitted roads were covered and slick throughout the state.
So why wasn't MoDOT more prepared? Well, Becker says the storm arrived earlier than they expected. So the big question now is, though, what will drivers encounter this morning?
People need to slow down. As Tom said, they need to slow down and be careful. Take their time. Leave yourselves plenty of room. Your cars don't react as they normally do in these situations whenever there's snow on the roadway. So please be careful. Watch out for our plows.
Becker says a new shift started Monday evening at 7 o'clock and that crews would work through the night to make sure the highways and roads are at least drivable. But be prepared for anything. If you're heading out early this morning, make sure you give yourself that extra time. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
St. Louis City Police report they handled 111 traffic crashes during an 8-hour span yesterday. 10 of them involved injuries. No traffic deaths were reported in the city. The total number of calls for service during the height of the snowstorm was 415. Police say to use caution if traveling today and consider staying home if you are able.
Metro Transit says public transportation riders can expect service delays with Metro Bus and Call a Ride services this morning. They suggest allowing extra time for trips and check the rider alert page on metrostlewis.org for details about specific bus routes. The Metro Transit app has real-time locations of their buses.
It's 6:05. What happens to the redevelopment around Crundon Martin after the warehouse burned down Friday?
Crundon Martin building is just a skeleton of what once was, as some of the brick exterior still remains, but much of it is on the ground in a pile of rubble right now, covered by snow that has fallen, and some soft plumes of smoke still emanating from the rubble inside where the building was. Now, this was part of the Gateway South redevelopment vision from Millstone Capital Advisors, along with the Gateway South Development Group. And in a statement that I received from Millstone Capital, says that while it's too early to know the full extent of the damage or the long-term implications for the project, their commitment to the area and St. Louis has not changed. However, they did add in their statement that Crundon Martin was not only a cornerstone for their Gateway South vision, but a symbol of the city's ability to reinvent and reuse its historic fabric. Outside the Crundon Martin building, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
We could hear from the Madison County coroner today about the cause of death and identity of the man killed in an Alton house fire. It happened before 3 Monday morning in the 900 block of Rickson. Alton Fire Department officials have said the home had no electricity, but they did find propane tanks behind it.
The Jefferson County Sheriff reports they have arrested the suspect wanted in Monday morning's road rage shooting. 46-year-old Michael Quintana Betancourt is a trucker from Miami. He now faces several charges, including armed criminal action for allegedly shooting another man in traffic.
A slew addiction expert is worried about the problem of gambling now that sports wagering is underway in Missouri. Dr. Jeremiah Weinstock says in the general population, 3 to 5% of people will develop a gambling addiction.
New Jersey has seen a doubling of the prevalence of gambling problems since they legalized in 2018.
Weinstock tells KMOX one of the biggest risk factors is an early big win that hooks someone in.
A new report explores what the state can do to help Illinoisans anxious about losing their SNAP benefits. Here's WBBM's Mallory Vorbroker.
Under the federal changes to the food assistance program, the Civic Federation report found that the expansion of work requirements to adults ages 18 to 64 and reduced waiver flexibility will result in thousands of SNAP enrollees losing their benefits. Lily Padula, Policy and Research Associate at the Civic Federation, says Illinois will absorb the administrative cost of running SNAP.
In 2028, when the benefit cost sharing comes in, that's when we'll see a major increase, about $700 million per year for what we have to cover.
The report found the state has a dual challenge of needing to protect access to nutrition for hundreds of thousands of low-income adults, as well as manage its fiscal exposure in the years ahead.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. There will be layoffs at Yankee Candle. Correspondent Jesse Mitchell.
Newell Brands, the maker behind Yankee Candle and Sharpie, announced it's laying off more than 900 employees, or about 10% of its workforce. As part of the move to cut costs, the company says it will close roughly 20 Yankee Candle stores across the U.S. and Canada early next year. The layoffs are set to begin this month.
Newell's other brands include Mr. Coffee, Oster, Rubbermaid, and Sunbeam.
Well, if you're north of 64, you're dealing with some issues on the road. South of 64, not so much. Roger Brand will sort it all out for you in 2 minutes. It's 6:09.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency efficiency, and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. For 43 days, the left kept the government closed, holding the American people hostage and demanding radical policy changes, including free health care for illegal immigrants. However, thanks to strong Republican leadership, the Senate voted to reopen the government and put America first. I'm thrilled to return to Washington so I can continue to vote to help Missourians, to secure our nation's borders, and to cut wasteful spending. Visit onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives. You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:11. The roads are slick and covered. Let's get to Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, pace is going to be slower for a lot of folks. Same thing as yesterday, where the weather hit primarily was 64 and points north. So those are the highways that are seeing the slowest pace right now. There's still a little bit of a jam eastbound 70 between K and TR Hughes. We had that earlier jackknife semi. They cleared it, but traffic still just a little bunched up there. But again, it's slower than it normally would be on 70 the whole way from Wentzville there at the 64 split, pretty much all the way into Cool Valley. 64 from right around 94 all the way in through the inner belt area is pretty busy. 370, 364, right around Harvester to 270 is the busiest part there. And we do have incidents westbound 70 at the Bermuda exit. We had one in the right lane, north 270, midway between Page and Olive. North 55, north of Merrimack Bottom. They cleared that one. There's one reported off the roadway, eastbound 44 near Highway 50 in Union, 21 in Vineland. We got one off the roadway, and also westbound 44 midway down the hill between Antire and Lewis. Another vehicle off the roadway there. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is cloud break for some sun, the high 30, partly cloudy and quite cold tonight, though 22. Some sun will give way to more clouds tomorrow, but not so cold for the afternoon, the high 41. However, Thursday will be much colder despite some sunshine, the high only 23. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy, 22 degrees downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores. Boots for every walk of life. Rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, and motorcycle gear. Probably could use some boots today. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peters. chucksboots.com.
It's 6:13. St. Louis public schools are operating under modified procedures today due to the weather. All students will participate in an AMI day and will not report in person. Not report in person. They should complete assignments as directed by their schools, and school-based staff may work remotely or from their building following established AMI procedures.
In the wake of yesterday's snowstorm, AAA of Missouri has a reminder for drivers that you may be liable for any snow or ice that flies off your car and causes damage to another vehicle or injuries to another driver. The best thing to do is take the extra few minutes to clear off the top of your car before heading out this morning. The Auto Club says broken windshields and undercarriage damage can cost thousands to repair.
Winter weather that pummeled the Midwest is now making its way east. News meteorologist Ashton Altieri has the latest on the possible impacts.
On the north of it, it's going to be all snow for many of the northern states. But down south, we are looking at the potential for some icy conditions. That was particularly the case Monday night in places like Little Rock, Arkansas. And it's possible there could still be some ice, particularly along the dividing line between the rain and snow parts of Kentucky, even into West Virginia today.
Pope Leo has led Mass at Beirut's historic waterfront, attended by tens of thousands of people, wrapping up his first overseas trip as Catholic leader. At the end of the Mass, Pope Leo, speaking in English, made an appeal for peace.
The path of mutual hostility and destruction in the horror of war has been traveled too long, with the deplorable results that are before everyone's eyes.
Leo has been visiting Lebanon for 3 days on the second leg of an overseas trip that started in Turkey.
Scientists are exploring a radical new way to build habitats on Mars by using microbes instead of heavy machinery.
Take Martian dirt, add bacteria from Earth, and maybe you can make concrete-like blocks instead of sending materials to the red planet. Shiva Hashtanad is a materials engineer at Polytech University in Milan, Italy.
We do not need any kind of additional material. Before the astronauts really go to Mars, the rovers can do the construction part.
Can you make concrete in gravity? Scientists aren't sure, but it's a clever approach.
The challenges is always there. You just have to put yourself into it, no matter what.
Brad Gibson for CBS News.
Well, here on Earth, we're trying to figure out what the Cardinals are going to do moving forward. Lots of trades and perhaps some signings to come. If you want a clue as to what they're looking for, look no further than the trade that they made for Sonny Gray and the Red Sox, acquiring Richard Fitz to jump into their rotation potentially, and the intriguing lefty Brandon Clark. I had a visit with the president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom. I started to dig as soon as the trade was announced, and wow, does that jump out? I mean, 6'4", lefty, throws heat, has an interesting delivery and some really good stuff coming out of his hand.
When you look at just what's coming out of his hand, the pure stuff, the angles he can create, it's up there with anybody who's pitching in the minor leagues right now. Obviously, coming out of that body from the left side, being able to do some of the things that he's shown he can do. What's left is further growth, establishing health to carry that load over the course of a full season, consistency of the delivery to be able to command the strike zone consistently. He's shown it in spurts. There's a lot of work ahead of him to be able to do it consistently. But in terms of the upside, it's as high as anybody who pitched this year in the minor leagues. And that's something that you can dream on what he can become. And there's obviously no guarantee that he's going to get there, but that upside is something that's really, really hard to access. You can't teach a lot of the things that he does. And we're excited to be able to give our pitching team and our performance team a raw resource like this to hopefully be able to mold into the type of big leaguer that someone with that talent can be.
Some known commodities have signed deals. An official deal, the Orioles get former Cardinals closer Ryan Helsley on a 2-year deal, and it's Devin Williams to the Mets to pump up their bullpen. As for the Blues, they lost last night to the Ducks. Final score was 4-1. Jordan Bennington was pulled in the first period of this one. He gave up 2 early goals. Jim Montgomery and Bennington had some words as Bennington left to go to the locker room. Montgomery sought him out at intermission, and the two ironed out any sort of emotions that were going on there. Montgomery went on to explain the decision to go with Bennington over Joel Hofer, who had just recorded a shutout.
We did, but his previous win was a shutout too, and we went back with him, and we didn't win the following game, so that was the logic behind it. Benner had played 4 great games in a row for us.
Blues had missed a chance to win 3 straight games for the first time this season. They fall to Joel Quenneville and the Ducks by a final of 4-1. In Monday Night Football, it was the Patriots over the Giants on KMOX. 33-15. Patriots are the first team in the NFL to 11 wins. They have won 10 in a row. Tonight on KMOX, the Billikens, their first and only true non-conference road game. They will visit Loyola Marymount tonight at 9 o'clock. Mizzou has a big road game, 8 o'clock for them at Notre Dame. Lindenwood at Northern Illinois among the games tonight. SIUE at North Florida. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
Known to listeners as the Big Bumper, Jim White turned KMOX's overnight hours into one of the most distinctive shows in American radio. Starting in 1969, his sharp wit, curiosity, and conversational style made late-night listeners feel like they were part of an exclusive club, where the phones never stopped ringing and the stories flowed freely.
I'm Jim White. I am that which goes bump in the night.
I'm kind of scared to say what I have to say.
No, I just hung up on the last guy because, never mind why I hung up on it. Monday through Friday, the night side, on KMOX, St. Louis.
Jim's warmth and personality created a loyal community that spanned decades, proving that even in the quietest hours, KMOX was alive, connected, and always listening. Jim White, a KMOX pioneer.
That was my guy right there, Jim White. Man, did I love listening to him growing up. You know, I've also learned through the years that the most important thing when it comes to owning a garage door is to keep it tuned up. On days like yesterday and these cold, hot, it seems like we just had 80 degrees. Well, the garage door goes through all of that, and it can really cause some wear and tear on the garage door. The weather that we go through here in St. Louis, an Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is there for you with technicians that can do same-day service nights and weekends as well. And then I've also learned that the job at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis as a technician is a really good one, technicians and installers. They are hiring right now. They've been around since 1926, so you know it's a great company with excellent reputation. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. They will train motivated applicants to repair and install garage doors. A hiring bonus of up to $4,000, benefits including health, dental, vision, and pension. Experience is a plus if you have mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience, but you don't need experience putting in garage doors. They'll teach you. You earn as you learn, as they like to say. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:21. We are expecting a slow go during the commute this morning. Let's get to Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, most of the things we're dealing with now are vehicles off the roadway or stuck in the ditch or whatever. This traffic report's a service of the Sandberg Phoenix law firm, Scott. But if you're traveling on westbound 64, this looks like a crash. Left lane's blocked midway out from McKnight to Lindbergh. There's a short jam up west of McKnight as you come over the hill there, that little rise on westbound 64. Looks like they cleared that crash over to the shoulder. Northbound 55 north of Merrimack Bottom. I still see the flashing lights there. They're still out. Again, it looks like on the shoulder. North 270 between Olive and Page. That's a car, again, off the roadway. Westbound 70 on the exit to Bermuda. It looks like the exit may be blocked. I can't tell if you can get around the emergency vehicles or not. I can see them out there working right now. Also, the vehicle off the roadway, northbound 21 at Vineland. Some heavier traffic running through there. Westbound 44 west of Antire. There's one off the roadway at that point as well. And again, the highways, especially 64 and points north, a little slower than they normally would be because roads are not quite back at 100%. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers, an important decision, and should not be based solely on advertising.
It stays cold out there. High of only 30 today, 22 the low tonight. Tomorrow, a little more sun with clouds, high 41. It's 22 right now.
The news continues at 6:23. Attorney General Kwame Raoul has announced a major settlement with Monsanto, accused of contributing to years of pollution across Illinois.
Raoul's office and Monsanto have announced a $120 million settlement stemming from a 2022 lawsuit that accused the company of decades of endangering public health in Illinois by producing paint and other products containing chemicals known as PCBs, which are banned by the EPA. Experts say human exposure to the chemicals has resulted in cancers, reproductive issues, and more. Raoul says the funds, which could total up to $280 million, will go towards addressing PCB contamination across Illinois. Areas named in the agreement include Chicago, Evanston, Lake Forest, Glencoe, and Winthrop Harbor. Andy Dane, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Well, after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, it's Giving Tuesday. Here's Julie Walker.
Since it started as a hashtag in 2012, Giving Tuesday has become one of the biggest fundraising days of the year for nonprofits in the U.S. and something Dr. Samuel Waxman, the director of the Samuel Waxman Institute for Aging and Cancer, relies on.
At one time, it was needed to fill a gap made by funding agencies such as that in the federal government and state. Now that has decreased. Philanthropic giving is no longer just filling a gap. It's required to create opportunity.
He says those donations helped fund a life-saving cancer breakthrough.
I worked with colleagues to show that a form of acute leukemia could be treated to complete cure when it was once a fatal disease.
Dr. Waxman says it's something he's most proud of. Julie Walker, New York.
The U.S. government did not commemorate World AIDS Day this week for the first time since it was recognized globally in 1988. CBS News medical contributor Celine Gounder says to many it feels like an erasure.
We've seen a freeze on foreign aid funding, including PEPFAR, which is the President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief. This was started by President George W. Bush over 20 years ago now. And those halts have led to 126,000 or more adult deaths and some 13,000 pediatric or child deaths from HIV-related conditions.
It's 6:25. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-371-2371. That's 800-371-2371. 800-371-2371.
It's 6:26. The man accused of murdering United Health CEO Brian Thompson last year was back in court yesterday, nearly 1 year after the attack. Lawyers for Luigi Mangione are arguing some evidence should be excluded from the trial because it was obtained without following proper procedures. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has more.
The defense claims their client's bag was searched without a warrant and that he was not read his Miranda rights before police questioned him. Inside the backpack, a notebook with handwritten pages that allegedly expressed disdain for the healthcare system. The prosecution claims one note says, "I finally feel confident about what I will do. The details are coming together." A key moment in court Monday was the playing of the 911 call when a McDonald's manager reported customers were suspicious of a man there and concerned that he was the New York CEO shooter. Mangione has pleaded not guilty. His supporters dressed in green inside and outside the courtroom. He has raised more than $1 million for his legal defense fund.
I think the case became very political in its early beginnings, and I think that raised a lot of red flags for people like me and others.
The hearing could continue for a few days. No trial date has yet been set. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Mangione is expected back in court today. If he's eventually convicted, he could face life in prison. Mangione is also facing separate federal charges that could carry the death penalty. It's 6:28.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-830-4914. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-830-4914. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-830-4914. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-830-4914. That's 800-830-4914.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
At 6:30, we have cloudy skies and 23 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, well, they just cleared that incident we had just about a minute ago, really, on westbound 64 west of McKnight's. All lanes back open there. They cleared the one we had north 270 at Olive. Westbound 70 at the Bermuda exit. That car's still stuck in the ditch, but they left the scene. The exit ramp is back open, so that's not a worry. But again, road conditions on the north side are the worst, so it's a slower pace. We're talking about 70 from Wentzville all the way into at least the Interbelt area, 364 from about Harvester all the way to 270, 370 the entire route, 64 the bulk of the volume. Well, there's pockets out west now, from 70 up to Lake St. Louis Boulevard and east to 94, but just off the pace, especially between 270 and the city limits, is kind of slow. If you're on northbound 270, slower stuff now, volume and road conditions, again, better down south, but it's still busy. North of 55 up to 44, north 55, you've got slow traffic in the right lanes at Butler Hill, and then coming up from Rivas across River to Perry. Illinois drivers, 64 westbound, a little slow, passing 255 and approaching the Poplar Street Bridge. 255 coming down from Godfrey over to, I guess the 143 area is the worst part of that run right now. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. We will not get above freezing today. The high will be 30. We will see some sunshine this afternoon. Overnight, back down to where we are now, low 20s. Tomorrow, we will get above freezing, 41 degrees, and then back down to 23 for a high on Thursday. Back up to 41 on Friday for the high. It's 22 in St. Peter's, 23 in Florissant, 23 downtown at the Arch.
St. Louis public schools are operating under modified procedures today due to inclement weather. All students will participate in AMI Day and will not report in person. They should complete assignments as directed by their schools. SLPS school-based staff may work remotely or from their building following established AMI procedures. Central office will open on a delayed schedule at 10 a.m.
Every time one of our plows gets hit and something happens, that takes our plows off the road.
That is MoDOT's Bob Becker talking to drivers about driving too close to the snowplows while they're trying to clear the roads.
KMOX received several calls from motorists stuck in large traffic jams because of accidents, or in some cases, highways and roads just were not passable. Becker says the timing of the snow seemed to be the problem.
The concern was this thing was going to move in during rush hour. It came out considerably earlier. So now the big concern is all those folks are heading home now. There's a lot of traffic out here in the middle of the day, a lot more than normal.
It seems to happen a lot in Missouri when there is significant snow or ice. As for this morning, don't assume anything that it's going to be cleared. It might not be.
Check with our travel information map, modot.org, and go there and see what those road conditions are and plan accordingly before you leave to get out.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
We'll continue to keep you updated. Roger Brand has another report at 6:40. Missouri has launched a statewide investigation into sellers of unregulated THC products. The items being targeted have an active ingredient in marijuana that can get people, including kids, sick and high. State Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says some customers have reported being exposed to chemically altered and deceptively marketed products labeled as hemp or natural.
There's a loophole for industrial hemp or agricultural hemp, but people have taken that to the extreme and now are putting intoxicating THC in packaging that looks like Doritos or Nestle Crunch bars.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Up next, your money report. It's 6:34.
Tom Ackerman here for Busey Bank, recognizing the Guardian Angel Settlement Association as a building community partner. Guardian Angel serves under-resourced community members, helping them take the first step on the path to possible. They assist over 5,000 individuals in our community through their early childhood education and social stability programs. To learn more about Guardian Angel, Google Guardian Angel STL. Busey Bank encourages you to get involved. Together, we can build community.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President at Busey Bank. At Busey, community and giving back are at the heart of everything we do. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbors and your partners. We take pride in engaging with the communities we serve and building lasting relationships because our commitment to strengthening our communities is a top priority. Whether you're shopping local or giving back through volunteerism, every little bit counts. Join us at Busey Bank as we continue building the communities we call home.
6:35, your money report sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Amazon.com is planning to offer deliveries of hundreds of household items within 30 minutes in a test program. Those household items include some fresh groceries and over-the-counter medicines. The e-commerce company says it will use specialized, smaller facilities for the deliveries. The stock futures are a little changed this morning. This after the S&P 500 fell 0.5% in yesterday's trading. Warner Brothers Discovery fielding a second round of bids, including a mostly cash offer from Netflix in an auction that could wrap up in the coming days or weeks. Bankers for Paramount, Skydance, Comcast, and Netflix worked over the long Thanksgiving weekend on improved offers for all or part of Warner Brothers. And power demand from U.S. data centers is set to surge to 106 gigawatts by 2035, up from just 41 gigawatts this year. That forecast represents a 36% jump from Bloomberg's previous outlook. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
Are you ready to sell your home quickly and for top dollar? Would you like to take away all the stress of selling your home and have an upfront written guarantee that it will be sold? That's what Gloria Lou can do for you. Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria will guarantee in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it herself. As always, Gloria and seller must agree upon price and possession date. Gloria has more than 24,000 buyers in waiting, so your home may already be sold. Her team sells for top dollar, which means more money for you. Gloria sells quickly and closes a home sale just about every other day. That's unlike other agents who may average 4 or 5 sales a year. So do what so many have done, like the Garcias in Baldwin, who sold quickly, earning thousands of extra dollars in their pocket. So if you're ready to pack, call Gloria Lou, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Cyber Monday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Cyber Monday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. Ski Team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
I'm Frank Ladd. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It is 6:39. Nearly 44% of the 16,000 truck driving programs in the U.S. may be forced to close. This is if they lose their students after a review by the Federal Transportation Department. It found they may not be complying with government requirements. Separately, the Department of Homeland Security is auditing trucking firms owned by immigrants to verify their drivers, see if they're qualified to hold a commercial license.
The Transportation Department says it plans to revoke the certification of nearly 3,000 schools unless they can comply within the next 30 days. Another 4,500 schools are being warned they could face similar action.
At 6:40, we're going to check traffic and weather together, starting with this commute. Snowy roads this morning. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a new crash out there, Scott. No surprise, I guess. This traffic reports the service of the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America Holiday Concerts. One of our KMOX commuters called in about it. I can't quite see what lane's blocked, but it's westbound 64 right at about McCausland. Traffic's only jammed to Clayton Skinker. Now, again, highways are just slower in general because of the weather. But there is a short jam there. I'm also seeing a jam. Looks like we have a crash eastbound 64 just before 141 and an incident on the ramp from southbound 270 getting onto eastbound 64. That ramp is backing up right now. Also, eastbound 364 near Kisker, there was a crash reported in the traffic lane there. So things are backed up at that point as you get east of Mid Rivers. Just be prepared on 364. But like I said, highways 64 and north, road conditions aren't optimal, so it's a slower pace for a lot of you all the way into work this morning just because of that. North 270, a little better shape down south, but it's still busy. 55 up through Gravois. North 55, a little busy around the Highway A area. There's a couple of spots coming up through Butler Hill. That crash north of Merrimack Bottom was on the shoulder. Westbound 64 still a little heavy at 255 and across the Poplar for Illinois drivers. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Get into the spirit of the season with free holiday concerts by the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America, December 6th through 12th. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. My daughter texted me that school was canceled, and I counted 8 exclamation points at the end of that text.
Just 8?
Yeah. She's pretty excited about that one. How's it going today?
Today, it's just cold. I mean, the snow that we had over the past 24 hours, 2, 3, some places 4 inches of snow, isn't going anywhere. And with temperatures below the freezing mark, and it's tough to do a lot of melting right now. We'll see some breaks of sun today. We'll get to about 30, so the road conditions will gradually improve with time, but it's not like we're having a heat wave or anything like that. And then partly cloudy skies tonight will dip into the low 20s. Some sun will give way to increasing clouds tomorrow. We'll wander up to 41. Then another front darts through the area tomorrow night. There may be a snow shower with it early, and then behind it, partly sunny at very cold Thursday. Our high only 23. Some sunshine on Friday, the high 41. Gets a bit cloudier on Saturday, the high 38. Right now, 22 at St. Peter's and in Florissant, cloudy 24 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It's 6:42. The U.S. Navy's Blue Angels return to the Spirit of St. Louis Air Show and STEM Expo next summer, and they actually flew into Spirit yesterday to start getting ready for the event. Blue Angels spokesman Mark Sutherland.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic. I am standing here on the ramp here at Spirit of St. Louis Airport looking at an amazing made in St. Louis Boeing FA-18 Super Hornet. This is just a beautiful plane. It's made right here in Missouri, and we're going to have the entire team here June 6th and 7th.
And tickets are on sale.
Experts are bracing for a surge in gambling addiction now that sports wagering is underway in Missouri.
Problem gambling doubled in New Jersey after the launch of sports betting there. St. Louis University's Dr. Jeremiah Weinstock is an addiction expert who studies sports betting. He says one of the biggest risk factors is a big win.
So you have an early big win and you're like, this is easy money. Let me just keep going. And so
And then invariably they get into some financial troubles, and then they start chasing. And so they're trying to get back to even, and they never can quite make it there.
Weinstock says that often spirals into making bigger and bigger bets and getting into financial trouble. He says he is optimistic about a state problem gaming support program funded by the industry. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The effort to prevent the hospital at Southern Missouri's Fort Leonard Wood from being downgraded to a clinic was a team effort. Major General Christopher Beck says the U.S. Defense Health Agency was considering downgrading Fort Leonard Wood's hospital as part of a wide-ranging cost-saving measure.
But the team here did a great job, and frankly, the Defense Department Health Agency did a great job listening as we laid out the criticality of this hospital to not only on-post but off-post capabilities.
Those include Fort Leonard Wood's decontamination capabilities that can handle biological, chemical, and nuclear contamination. He also says the relationship hospital leaders are developing with the Veterans Administration to provide medical care and services played a role in the hospital not being downgraded.
All right, so let's listen in on this. This is Blues coach Jim Montgomery with reporters. Jordan Bennington was pulled in the first period last night after giving up 2 early goals, and it looked like he had an exchange of words with Monty as he made his way to the locker room. Montgomery describes that and more as the Blues lost 4-1 to the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, I mean, that and just wanted to switch momentum. You know, we had a couple of games earlier in the year where I wish I would have done more, and I didn't want to have any regrets. So made the switch.
You've had some disappointed goalies when they get pulled over the years. What did you make of Bennington being a little fired up?
You know, I love Jordan Bennington. He's a competitor. He raises his games in the big moments all the time. I love him. You know, he walked off the ice. He said, I love you. I said, I love you too. And we're both competitors by nature. And at the end of the period, he waited for me. We apologized. We moved on. It's over and done with.
How important is that just to, when you are in a different headspace, to address it in that manner?
Well, it's just, you know, the professionalism that you expect from someone like Bennington, and as well as let my own ego go and just go into him, you know, the same thing. It's important that you deal with it right away. So there's, you know, anytime you have to deal, I don't love dealing with conflict, but in life you have to deal with conflict, and you deal with it right away and nothing festers then.
Montgomery decided to go with Bennington over Joel Hofer, who had just recorded a shutout. His explanation.
But his previous win was a shutout too, and we went back with him, and we didn't win the following game. So that was the logic behind it. Benner had played 4 great games in a row for us.
Now, with the focus on goaltending, the Blues also failed offensively. They were 0 for 6 on the power play. The only goal came from Jordan Kyrou. The Blues lose to the Anaheim Ducks 4-1. Ducks are coached by former Blues coach Joel Quenneville, and they are the leader right now in the Pacific Division. The Blues are 2 games under 500, next to last in the Central. Actually, just 3 points out of the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference, believe it or not. College basketball tonight on KMOX. It's St. Louis University. The Billikens coming off their first loss of the season in the Acrisure Classic Championship against Stanford. They lost on a last-second 3. Tonight, they'll play on the road at Loyola Marymount. It's a 9 o'clock tip-off here on KMOX. Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. will bring you the pregame at 8:45. The Billikens are 6-1 on the season. Loyola Marymount is 7-2. Mizzou is 8-0. They'll get their biggest test yet at Notre Dame tonight. That's an 8 o'clock tip-off. Lindenwood at Northern Illinois at 7. The earlier games, SIUE at North Florida at 6, and St. Mary of Woods visits Southeast Missouri State at 6:30. Monday Night Football on KMOX last night. The New England Patriots dressed in their throwback uniforms, and it was Drake May looking like Tony Eason in uniform back in the 80s, but playing like Tom Brady. He had a phenomenal day and could be the NFL MVP when it's all said and done. 33-15, Patriots beat the Giants. May threw for 2 touchdowns. He was 24 of 31 passing for 282 yards. Patriots are the first team to 11 wins.
They have won 10 in a row. The Orioles made it official with Ryan Helsley signing the closer to a 2-year deal. St. Louis and Devin Williams gets a deal with the New York Mets to be part of their bullpen. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
We're winding down the year. We're in the holiday season. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. With the end of the year coming, also means there is still available a $600 tax credit on certain furnaces, which is a huge advantage to us. You could either give it to the government and they can spend it on seeing how grass grows, or you could keep it and put it into a furnace for your house, which you worked very hard for. It's your money. That's what a tax credit is. So if you're paying federal taxes, $600 comes back to you that you can put into a furnace to the end of December. So if you need a furnace, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Only. Merry Christmas and God bless.
Experience a musical kaleidoscope as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Shostakovich's 15th, Rebellion and Reckoning, an epic symphonic memoir. Cellist Kian Soltany joins to make his St. Louis debut, using his bow to tell the story of Haydn's elegant cello concerto. December 5th and 6th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Winter Wonderland, presented by St. Louis County Parks and Recreation at Tillis Park, is open Wednesday, November 26th through January 3rd. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights with holiday characters and festive scenes. Whether you're carrying on a family tradition or starting a new one, you'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. Happy holidays from Kirkwood Fence, Tully Tire, Washington U Orthopedics, Restoration One, and Happy Roof. Get more info at KMOX.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:51. Let's get an update on the roads this Tuesday morning. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, looking at a new crash right now, eastbound 70, right near the Spencer Road overpass. So it looks like it's blocking the right lane or lanes. Looks like maybe the two left lanes are getting by. So just be prepared on eastbound Highway 70. Of course, like I've been saying, the highways are slower just because of patchy road conditions anyway. So you're already slow, but you have a bit of a jam from Mid-Rivers up to this crash. And again, it's just before 370 near that Spencer Road overpass on eastbound 70. But road conditions on 70 coming in from really Wentzville Parkway all the way into downtown are you're just at a slower pace than you normally would be. Eastbound 364 is still a little back up east of Mid-Rivers there around Kisker, where we had a crash that they were working that was blocking a traffic lane. It's still slow from 94 Mugi into 270. 64 is busy out west into 364. There's slow stuff through the valley. A jam from Clarkson into that crash we had before 141. Still working that crash westbound 64 near McCausland. The lane blockage is jammed at Hampton. South 170 getting onto eastbound 64. That ramp's backed up. South 270 getting onto eastbound 64. That ramp is backed up as well. Downtown looks like Route 3 at Queenie. There's a train crossing. Jam traffic both ways there. Next update is 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. Apply today. Get a call today. Hiring bonus up to $4,000. Benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Apply today at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're going to be very cold today. Clouds breaking for some sun at times, high 30, partly cloudy and cold tonight, low 22. Tomorrow we get up to 41 with a little sun. It's 22 right now.
The news continues at 6:53. Missouri Highway Patrol troopers report having a busy day yesterday throughout the state. They responded to 817 calls for service, helped 214 stranded motorists, and handled 358 crashes. There was one traffic death.
We could hear from the Madison County coroner today about the cause of death and identity of the man killed in an Alton house fire. It happened before 3 Monday morning in the 900 block of Rickson. Alton Fire Department officials have said the home had no electricity, but they found propane tanks behind it.
The Justice Department says it could seek the death penalty against Ramanullah Lakawal, the man accused of shooting 2 members of the National Guard. This was just blocks from the White House. One of the soldiers has died, of course. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland has more.
As to the health of Andrew Wolf, the second of 2 Guard members shot from West Virginia in this attack, there is some limited positive news about his condition. We heard it from the governor of West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey.
We were told that Andrew was asked if he could hear the nurse who asked the question to give a thumbs up, and he did respond. And we were told that he also wiggled his toes.
When this case is finally brought to court, this will be a prosecution at the federal level by the U.S. Department of Justice.
A pet may be a good holiday present, but it should not be an easy decision. WBBM's Rob Hart explains.
Animal shelters say the return rate for pets adopted during the holidays is about the same as the rest of the year, roughly 10%. Even so, the decision to adopt a pet so it's waiting under the Christmas tree is not one to be taken lightly. Ed Jertson, certified financial planner and founder of the Engage Wealth Group in Chicago, tells the Noon Business Hour that pet ownership is a lifelong commitment and that family members need to know that they need to continue caring for their new pet even after the excitement wears off.
While that initial commitment, even from kids as a longtime pet owner, I can tell you the kids are very committed up front, and then that kind of goes away.
He adds potential pet owners need to tally up all of the costs, from potential vet bills to boarding fees.
The time is 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday. Today's KMOX birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. On this December 2nd, actress Lucy Liu is 57, singer Nelly Furtado, 47, Britney Spears is 44, and Kathy Lee Crosby is 81 years old.
Happy birthday, Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers quarterback is 42 today. Well, he got beat up in that.
Boy, he had a bloody nose and everything.
Happy birthday, Stephanie Magnuson from the Lads. It's 6:56.
This is the best birthday ever.
The national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com. Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction, 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Hey, Bethesda volunteer Dave Glover here. Winter is right around the corner, and that means shoveling snow and preparing your house for the cold. Why not let Bethesda help you enjoy the season without the hassle of home maintenance? Bethesda Orchard in Webster Groves is an active and vibrant retirement community where residents spend time doing the things they want to do, not the things they have to do. And they have this beautiful backyard garden with walking paths that the residents take care of themselves. Extremely impressive. To learn more about Bethesda Orchard or any of the Bethesda retirement communities, go to BethesdaHealth.org.
Just before 7 o'clock, another update on the roads. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they say that crash is in the left lane, Scott, on westbound 64 at McCausland, so I'll take their word for it. I can't quite see it. I can see the jam, though, when it begins at Hampton, westbound 64 out to it, so just be prepared. Still seeing a backup southbound 270 on the ramp to get on to eastbound 64, so may have problems there. It looks like, it wouldn't surprise me, the flyover ramp is backed up northbound 270 getting onto westbound 70, and the ramp eastbound 70 getting onto north 270. That ramp is jammed up as well. We saw this crash eastbound 64 west of 141, traffic jamming approaching Clarkson Road up to that one. Still have the one on 364 east of Mid Rivers around Kisker. Eastbound 70 a little backed up approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and then that crash near the Spencer Road overpass in the right lanes has traffic jammed at Mid Rivers. Next update is 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's cold. It's cloudy. It's 22 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news.
If you were caught in traffic for hours yesterday, I'm Maria Kina. I'll tell you what MoDOT is saying about it.
I'm Scott Jagow. Things look better Monday night across the city. We have numbers from the police department about how many calls they handled during the storm.
I'm Sean Malone. What comes next for the Crundon Martin Building's redevelopment after it burned to the ground on Friday? I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds breaking for some sun at times today, but quite cold, high only 30.
In sports, the Blues fell 4-1. Jordan Bennington was pulled and had some words for Coach Jim Montgomery. They ironed it out, though. They'll explain what's going on. We'll also look into baseball at 7:15.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Vicki Barker. There was a second strike on a suspected Venezuelan drug smuggler boat, but the White House isn't saying it was aimed at picking off wounded survivors. CBS's Nancy Cordes reports.
Reading from prepared remarks, the White House press secretary said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not issue an order to kill everybody, as the Washington Post first reported this weekend. Instead, she said it was Navy Admiral Frank Bradley's decision to order a second strike to ensure the boat was destroyed.
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law.
Her comments came just one day after President Trump claimed there was no second strike.
No, I wouldn't have wanted that, not a second strike.
The commander who reportedly ordered that second strike is giving a classified briefing to lawmakers this Thursday. President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff is in Moscow carrying the president's revised peace proposal for Ukraine to Russian President Vladimir Putin. There are fears among Ukraine and its European allies that the plan remains heavily favorable to the Russian invaders. CBS's Holly Williams is in Ukraine.
Ukraine and other European countries believe a peace deal that's favorable to Russia could be downright dangerous. Many say that if Vladimir Putin isn't stopped decisively here in Ukraine, he could attack elsewhere in Europe.
Back at home, that winter storm system that's pummeled the Midwest is heading to the nation's northeast.
Northwest of I-95, 6 to 10 inches of snowfall. That is a high-impact snow event, no doubt about that. And the cold air coming in behind this is going to be for real as well.
CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano. The nation's biggest warehouse club chain has become the latest company to sue the Trump administration over its tariffs. CBS's Michael Wallace reports.
In its suit filed at the U.S. Court of International Trade, the retail giant argues President Trump unlawfully used the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose his tariffs. Costco is seeking a full refund on all the tariffs it has paid. The Supreme Court is considering whether Trump had the legal authority to impose the tariffs. Dozens of other companies, including Bumblebee and Kawasaki, have also filed lawsuits seeking tariff refunds.
And in Lebanon, Pope Leo XIV has celebrated Mass in the Lebanese capital Beirut before a crowd of 150,000 people, deploring the country's ongoing internal sectarian strife.
The path of mutual hostility and destruction in the horror of war has been traveled too long, with the deplorable results that are before everyone's eyes.
The Pope expressing regret that he wasn't able to visit the conflict zone in southern Lebanon, site of multiple Israeli attacks. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's Chicken Pot Pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
At 7:04, it's cloudy and 24 downtown at the Gateway Arch. It's Tuesday, December 2nd. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's get back out to Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center, with some road conditions that have caused some slowdowns. Roger?
Yeah, we have some problems, Tom. I'm looking at the one right now. In fact, it looks like there may be two separate crashes. Originally, I was talking about one eastbound 70 near the Spencer Road overpass, blocking the right-hand lanes, but I see traffic only getting through in the center lane now, and they actually have the left lanes closed both directions on 70 near the Spencer Road overpass because of this crash. So be prepared. 364 east of Mid Rivers around Kisker. We've got one. We had one eastbound 64 before 141. That's still jammed back through Clarkson. Looks like they cleared the one westbound 64 at McCausland, but there's still a jam at Hampton. We'll have much more traffic at 7:10.
It is 7:05. Judging from Monday afternoon's commute, we anticipated this morning's travel would be a challenge once again. KMOX's Maria Kina reports yesterday there were hundreds of accidents, 41 injuries, and 1 death statewide.
Snow was in the forecast, but MoDOT's Bob Becker suggested their lack of preparedness was because of the timing of the storm.
The storm came in several hours sooner than expected, but we've got full crews out there. We're working. They're doing what they can. They get things treated.
There were hundreds of accidents throughout the state because the storm did hit the entire state. Becker says their shift change was last night at 7 o'clock, and they expected crews to be out through the night. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
St. Louis police report they handled 111 traffic crashes in the city during an 8-hour span Monday. 10 of them involved injuries. No traffic deaths were reported in the city. The total number of calls for service during the height of the snowstorm was 415. Police say to use caution if traveling today and consider staying home if you are able.
St. Louis public schools are operating under modified procedures today due to the weather. All students will participate in an AMI day, will not report in person. They should complete assignments as directed by their schools. School-based staff may work remotely or from their building following the established AMI procedures.
Metro Transit says public transportation riders can expect service delays with Metro Bus and Call-A-Ride services this morning due to traffic and road conditions. The Metro Transit app has real-time locations of buses. There are no delays with Metrolink trains.
What do the developers hoping to turn the Crundon Martin warehouses into an innovation district have to say about Friday's huge fire?
Soft plumes of smoke still rise from the rubble that is the remains of the Crundon Martin warehouse, along with the red bricks scattered around the perimeter of the building, covered in soft snow that continues to fall on top of it. Now, questions remain about what the future of this building looks like, as it was set for redevelopment into what's called Gateway South, or what's to be called Gateway South. In a statement from Millstone Capital Advisors, they said that it's too early to know the full extent of the damage or the long-term implications for the project, but their commitment to the area has not changed. However, in their statement, they did call Crundon Martin a cornerstone for their Gateway South vision, but also a symbol of the city's ability to reinvent and reuse its historic fabric. Outside the Crundon Martin warehouse, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Costco is suing the Trump administration over its tariffs. CBS correspondent Michael Wallace with the story.
In its suit filed at the U.S. Court of International Trade, the retail giant argues President Trump unlawfully used the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose its tariffs. Costco is seeking a full refund on all the tariffs it has paid. The Supreme Court is considering whether Trump had the legal authority to impose the tariffs. Dozens of other companies, including Bumblebee and Kawasaki, have also filed lawsuits seeking tariff refunds.
Costco has not said how much it has paid in tariffs, but says 1/3 of its sales are from imported goods.
Another update on traffic in just a minute. It is 7:08.
Hey, just check the mail. We've been invited to a seminar and dinner is free.
It's going to be chicken, and it'll taste like Play-Doh.
Don't be fooled. All seminars are not the same. For example, Steve All, an investment advisor representative and founder of the All Financial Group, is hosting a taxes and retirement seminar at his office in Chesterfield on December 10th. Come meet Steve's newest advisor, Tracy Richardson, as she discusses the big beautiful bill, taxes on your Social Security, and more. Tracy will not only cover the hurdles you can face in retirement, but ways to keep more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. This is a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
You know, hon, I've always been interested in us buying a timeshare.
I'd rather eat Play-Doh.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Well, Roger Brand, we've had some issues out there this morning. What's the latest? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, the latest one is the one I mentioned at the top of the news, Tom, with this crash on 70 near the Spencer Road overpass east of Mid Rivers. It involves a semi that looks like he's maybe on the wall or through the wall. It's hard to tell from my vantage point. But originally I saw this crash in the right lanes at that point. But now they have the left lanes blocked both directions for this semi. And so the end result is if you are on eastbound 70, only the center lane is getting through past this crash scene. Eastbound 70 is a solid jam back to pretty close to 79 now, so be prepared. They're still working that crash. We had eastbound 64 just before 141 traffic jams at Clarkson. Looks like they cleared the one on 364 east of Mid Rivers. They cleared the one westbound 64 at McCausland. Again, the highways are still patchy, mostly clear. I mean, this world's better than yesterday, but we're still talking about the same way the weather moved through. So 70, you've got slower paced traffic from Wentzville and all the way up at least into that 370 area. And then there's stuff again around the Blanchette Bridge, 270 between 70 and 64 from the Boone Bridge all the way in through 170. Those road conditions, again, aren't great. 370, same deal from Earth City into 270, just like 364. The Veterans Bridge into 270, a lot slower pace because of patchy conditions. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company in St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a very cold day today as clouds break for some sun at times, the high 30. Partly cloudy, very cold tonight, though 22. Tomorrow, some sun will give way to clouds, not as cold in the afternoon, high 41. Thursday, partly sunny, much colder, high only 23. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thanks, Joe. Right now, it's 21 degrees in St. Peters, 23 in Florissant. We have cloudy skies and 24 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:12. Mass killings are down in the United States. AP correspondent Mike Hempen.
There have been 17 mass killings this year in the United States, the lowest since 2006. That's according to a database maintained by the Associated Press and USA Today in partnership with Northeastern University. But experts say this probably isn't the start of a trend. Instead, it's more likely a return to average after mass killings spiked in 2018 and 2019. Northeastern criminologist James Allen Fox calls it a regression to the mean. Fox, who manages the database, says mass killings are down about 24% this year compared to last year. Mass killings are incidents in which 4 or more people are killed. Experts say a decline in violent crime and an improvement in crime response may be contributing to the drop. I'm Mike Hempen.
The man accused of murdering a high-level healthcare executive was in a New York City courtroom yesterday. CBS News correspondent Jerika Duncan has the story.
Unshackled in a Manhattan courtroom, Luigi Mangione took notes through the hearing that could determine the direction of his state murder case. Mangione's lawyers are asking the court to suppress evidence collected during his arrest at a Pennsylvania McDonald's 5 days after the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, including the alleged murder weapon, a 9mm equipped with a silencer, and Mangione's notebook. The 27-year-old is accused of stalking Thompson, then allegedly shooting him 3 times from behind outside a Manhattan hotel last year.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has seized thousands of items containing 7-OH from 2 Kansas City stores. Meanwhile, Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has launched a statewide investigation into retailers who might be selling unregulated THC products that can get people sick and high.
There's a reason that when Missouri legalized marijuana, it did so in a very regulated environment. And those who are selling these products are really skirting all of those laws.
Public tours of the White House are resuming. More from Christopher Cruz.
The tours have been on hold while the East Wing was being demolished to make way for a grand ballroom. But beginning today, the public can enter the mansion and see the always impressive Christmas decorations, including 51 trees. The tour route this year excludes the entire ground floor, which has been repurposed for offices for the First Lady, who has traditionally had offices in the East Wing.
If you want tour tickets, ask your representative or your senator. Each of the 535 members of Congress get an allotment of tickets for their constituents.
Well, tickets are available for the Cardinals next year. We know that. There have been some empty seats at Busch Stadium. If you are interested in the future of the organization, in prospects, buckle up, because Chaim Bloom is ready to deal. He says the market is moving, and he's right about that. Devin Williams, the St. Louisan, went to the Mets yesterday. Ryan Helsley officially goes to the Orioles. Those were free agent deals, but the trades are moving. Here is my visit with Chaim. You told us last week that before Thanksgiving, some deals typically start being discussed, and as it turns out, the Cardinals did that very thing. Now that we're coming out of the holiday, what do you anticipate the market looking like this week as we lead into the following week as the winter meetings? But there has been some movement here, Chaim. Both free agents and trades have come to fruition.
Yeah, at the time that I said that to you last week, I did have an inkling that we might be able to get something done before Thanksgiving. I am happy for the sake of all of our families that we were able to get it done before Thanksgiving, so we didn't have to multitask on Thursday. That was a big relief to, I know, my family, and probably also, I'm guessing, our friends in the media appreciated it as well.
It was nice, yes.
I do think it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. Now, we don't have anything up our sleeves right now that's about to drop, so I'm not trying to hint anything, but just knowing that things are now starting to move in the industry, I think, we were one of the first handful of deals, with Sonny to be able to have happen this winter. I do think you'll see things escalating as we get closer to the winter meetings, into the winter meetings. I know we're going to be really busy in conversation. You've already started to see it pick up a little bit coming out of Thanksgiving, and with everybody back in their offices tomorrow, I'm sure it will just continue to build, and we'll be very active in conversations with other team. Again, just looking for opportunities to do things that benefit the organization. If we see players that we think can help us win now and in the future, we're going to be pretty aggressive hunting those players down.
We'll stay on top of it during the Gas House Gang. That conversation from Sports on a Sunday Morning. Chaim Bloom joins us every Sunday. The Gas House Gang today, Bernie Miklas will be with us at noon. The winter meetings start next week. KMOX will be there in Orlando with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. We're in California tonight for the Billikens at Loyola Marymount. It's a 9:00 tip-off for SLU. Just took their first loss against Stanford in the Acrisure Championship. The Blues last night fell to the Anaheim Ducks. Final score at Enterprise Center was 4-1. Jordan Bennington was pulled in the first period. He gave up 2 goals. Jim Montgomery didn't like what he saw, so he pulled Benner. Benner went into the locker room, had a few words for Monty. The two talked it out during the intermission and seemed to be on better terms. as Bennington sat on the bench the rest of the way. The other issue last night was a lack of offense. The Blues were 0 for 6 on the power play. What was missing there?
More of an attack mindset, convergence at the net. We knew that they were a team that was in shot lanes a lot, and that low plays weren't going to be there. We wanted a lot more shots from up top. That didn't transpire. We deflected a couple, but unfortunately, deflections didn't go in. We needed more because I thought those were our best opportunities besides the Bucci opportunity there at the end.
We had Monday Night Football on KMOX. Patriots beat the Giants 33-15, 11 wins for the Patriots. They're the first team in the NFL to 11. The other basketball game of note tonight, and there are a lot of them, but Mizzou at Notre Dame. That's a good one. That's a 8 o'clock tip tonight, and then 9 for SLU at Loyola Marymount. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
1964.
There when St. Louis celebrated.
Kenny Boyer, the batter. The Cardinals with their best opportunity. Bases loaded. 1 out. Boyer, who led the major leagues in runs batted in this year. There's a drive way back. It might be. It could be. It is a home run. Kenny Boyer, long time due in this World Series, just became the 9th player to hit a grand slammer. He hit a changeup.
The day is one to remember in the city of St. Louis. The Cardinals are world champions.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 7:21, an update on this morning's snowy commute. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the one crash that's, I guess, the biggest issue right now, Scott, is going to be the Highway 70 crash east of Mid-Rivers near the Spencer Road overpass. I can see it better now that there's maybe a few less flashing lights, but a semi sort of up on the wall or went through the wall, wherever it is. So he's blocking on both sides of the highway there, 70 east of Mid-Rivers. But we had another incident on the right side at about that same point on eastbound 70. So the end result is just the center lane sneaking through eastbound 70 at that point. It's a solid jam at 79 westbound with just the left lane closed, or maybe left 2 lanes. It's only a shorter jam at 370 eastbound 64. You've still got a jam from Clarkson to 141 where you had the earlier crash. The ramp, the flyover ramp, north 270 on the westbound 70, that traffic is jamming in the area right now. The rest of these highways, though, are basically just slow. Like I said, road conditions are a lot better, but they're not optimal. So eastbound 70 coming in from Wentzville, you still have slow stuff until you reach that jam at 79. 270 between 70 and 64 is still kind of off the pace, and 64 between the city limits and 270. 364 from the Veterans Bridge to 270. 370 from the Discovery Bridge into 270. They're all, again, a little worse for wear due to the weather we've had recently. North 270, a better road condition situation, but you're still slow north of 55 headed up through 44. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And Roger, it's going to stay cold out there. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says a high of only 30 today. We actually will see the sun at times today, but it's going to be very cold. Low 22 tonight. Tomorrow, a little more sun, high 41. Thursday, partly sunny, but a high of only 23 on Thursday. Friday's high 41, Saturday's high 38. I guess winter is here. It's cloudy and 20 downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance. With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The news continues at 7:23. In the wake of the storm yesterday, AAA has a reminder for drivers that you may be liable for any snow or ice that flies off your car and damages another or causes injury to another driver. Best thing to do is take a few extra minutes to clear off the top of your car before you go out. The Auto Club says broken windshields and undercarriage damage can cost a lot of money.
A woman is accused of shooting and killing a family member in North St. Louis County on the night before Thanksgiving. Prosecutors charged 27-year-old Giveon Carter with second-degree murder, armed criminal action, and endangering the welfare of a child. County police say she allegedly fired shots through a bathroom door that struck 25-year-old Breola Carter and nearly hit a juvenile. It happened on Cloverfield Drive off Chambers near Halls Ferry.
While the price of gas has dropped, an item that helps many Americans start their day continues to climb in price because of tariffs. CBS News senior correspondent Mark Strassman has the story on this Eye on America feature.
Get some ice in here. You got the ice drink, right?
As one of America's coffee capitals, Portland, Oregon has grounds for worry. Coffee prices have soared to historic highs.
We have bags of coffee that are $28.50. That's a lot of money for a bag of coffee.
We met Layla Gambari at Gilder Coffee Company, her specialty coffee cafe. She and her brothers practically grew up inside an espresso machine. Her father owned a coffee shop. Gambari became the 2014 U.S. Barista Champion. Now she's a small business owner grappling with another coffee expense, tariffs.
Any coffee that's already landed in the United States is still subject to the tariff.
So this is a tariff cup of
That's
coffee.
a tariff cup of coffee.
Coffee beans were already high thanks to supply and demand pressures for premium beans and climate issues, especially crop-killing frost. Back in April, the U.S. jolted coffee-producing countries by adding a reciprocal tariff of 10%. Gambari says that costs her roughly 50 cents a bag.
Have you made espresso before?
Nope. At the University of Oregon, Christopher Hendon's a chemistry professor with a nickname, Dr. Coffee. Hendon says these tariffs cost independent coffee operators. To the end user, the coffee drinker, not feeling it.
You probably are not feeling it. You might not care today because the price didn't change all that much, but you might care if your local cafe disappears.
Or your coffee roaster. Charlie Wicker's company, Trailhead Coffee, roasts green beans into brown ones. Tariffs hit him hard.
I had to lay off the 2 full-time employees. So now it's down to just myself and 1 part-time employee.
Was it a real gut punch?
No, the fact that we're still standing is a function of having a little bit of savings to keep the lights on.
Here's good news for America's coffee community. A few weeks ago, the U.S. reversed itself, lifting those tariffs. But relief will take time. Coffee roasters and cafes typically order beans months in advance.
The new coffees that land in our warehouse in February would be untariffed.
But not until February.
Not until February.
For Charlie Wicker, delivering to cafes, lifting those tariffs could be the coffee break he needs. For Eye in America, I'm Mark Strassman in Portland, Oregon.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop. Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
At
Hardee's, every Tuesday is now Tender Bender Tuesday. Right now, download the Hardee's app and join My Rewards. Buy 3 hand-breaded chicken tenders, get 3 free. It's Tender Bender BOGO every Tuesday now through June 2026. This Tuesday, get 3 tenders free. Next Tuesday, get them free. The Tuesday after that, you guessed it, free. Buy 3 tenders, get 3 free. Another great benefit for My Rewards members. Only at Hardee's. Registration and app required. Available for limited time at participating restaurants. See app for terms.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. 1 daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Cloudy sky. It's 22 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Scott Jagow. Let's check in on the roads. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, our biggest headache is still this crash, guys, on Highway 70 east of Mid Rivers near the Spencer Road overpass. A tractor trailer, I guess, through the median wall because it's on both sides of the highway there. So the left lanes are closed both ways, but also the right lane's closed on the eastbound side. I think we had 2 separate incidents, or maybe it was the result of the tractor trailer crash. So only center lanes open eastbound. Eastbound's jammed solid at 79. Westbound's jammed midway between Cave Springs and 370 because, again, just the left lanes are blocked on the westbound side, and there's just not as much westbound volume. Eastbound 64, you're still jammed from Clarkson into 141. We had a crash there. That ramp, South 270 at eastbound 64 still looks a little heavy. That flyover ramp, North 270 on the westbound 70 is still backed up. I think it's just road conditions there that's keeping it extra slow, and you should use caution and slow down when the road conditions aren't optimal. Obviously, in eastbound 70, again, you're going to be at a slower pace in general. Aside from that jam 79 through Mid Rivers, it's slow from basically 64, and it goes all the way into 270. After that, there's not as many spots where it's off the pace. In the city, it's a little slower. 270 between 64 and 70, 370 and 364 from the Missouri Rivers into 270 are adversely affected as well. North 270, Tesson Ferry up through 44, the busiest part there. On the Illinois side, westbound 64, west of 25th Street to the Poplar is also slow. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Now, Roger, these frigid conditions aren't helping. It's going to be very cold today, says Joe Lundberg, a high of just 30 degrees. We will see sun at times. Tonight, low 22. Tomorrow, some sun, a high of 41. Thursday's high is only 23 degrees. Currently, it's 22 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:31. MoDOT's Bob Becker has an explanation for Monday's difficulty in getting roads clear of falling snow in the St. Louis region.
KMOX received several calls from motorists stuck in large traffic jams because of accidents, or in some cases, highways and roads just were not passable. Becker says the timing of the snow seemed to be the problem.
The concern was this thing was going to move in during rush hour. It came out considerably earlier. So now the big concern is all those folks are heading home now. There's a lot of traffic out here in the middle of the day, a lot more than normal.
This seems to happen a lot in Missouri when there is significant snow or ice. As for this morning, Don't assume anything that it's going to be cleared. It might not be.
Check with our travel information map, MoDOT.org, and go there and see what those road conditions are and plan accordingly before you leave to get out.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
We're told Missouri Highway Patrol troopers responded to more than 350 crashes. There were 41 people injured, 1 traffic death.
Metro Transit says public transportation riders can expect service delays with Metro Bus and Call-A-Ride services this morning. They suggest allowing extra time for trips and checking the rider alert page on metrostlewis.org. That's metrostlewis.org for details about specific routes. The Metro Transit app has real-time location of buses.
It's 7:33. For some drivers, prices at the pump may bring a bit of holiday cheer.
Drivers are feeling some relief at the pump so far this holiday season. Gas Buddy, which makes a price tracking app, says the average price of a gallon of gasoline fell to $2.95, the lowest level in more than 4 years. AAA says the average price for a gallon of gas stands slightly higher at about $3 as of Monday, which is down about 7 cents from last week. Gas Buddy says lower crude oil prices and softer demand are behind the decline.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Coming up next, we have your money report. It's Total Information AM at 7:34.
Weekdays at 5, it's Rush Hour Sports on KMOX. Hot stove blazing. College football bowl season heating up. College basketball teams making their final prep for conference play. NFL teams jockeying for playoff positions. And the latest in Cardinals baseball and Blues hockey. Fast updates, instant analysis, 0 wasted seconds. St. Louis sports, all of it. Delivered right at Rush Hour. Rush Hour Sports, weekdays at 5 on KMOX.
This is Ari Azim, founder at Tax Hardship Center. Do you owe the IRS more than $25,000 in back taxes and can't afford to pay them back? I'm here to bring good news to the taxpayers who are struggling to pay their back taxes. Due to the financial hardship many are facing in the current economic downturn, the IRS has made it easier to settle back taxes through their hardship program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Qualifying for this program is the easiest way to get tax relief. At Tax Hardship Center, we're providing listeners with a free consultation and will let you know if you're a good candidate for the IRS Fresh Start Initiative. So for the listeners out there, call now, 800-299-5811. Let our team of experts at Tax Hardship Center help you see things clearly without poking the bear. We have live professionals ready for your call, 800-299-5811. 800-299-5811. That's 800-299-5811.
At 7:35, your money report sponsored by UC Bank. We get the latest from Bloomberg.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. $1 billion fashion deal to tell you about this morning. The Prada Group announced it's officially purchased fashion rival Versace. The price tag, nearly $1.4 billion. The stock futures, little change this morning after yesterday's losses. December is historically a good month for stocks, according to CFRA. Since 1990, the S&P 500 recorded its second-best average price return. Well, Samsung unveiled its first so-called trifold smartphone, even as the foldable category is yet to catch on with mainstream consumers. The handset, called the Galaxy Z Trifold, is part of a small subset of folding phones that have 2 hinges, allowing them to transform into larger tablet-sized devices. And the Trump administration has revoked the accreditation of thousands of training centers that help people obtain commercial driver's licenses. It's part of a widening campaign against non-citizen truck drivers. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Give the best of Broadway right here in St. Louis. Muni season tickets are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Our 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at just $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-371-2371. That's 800-371-2371. 800-371-2371.
Life is better together. At Fairwinds River's Edge, dynamic activity calendars, excellent meal options, and an abundance of services come together to create a strong sense of community where meaningful connections are cultivated. Here, you can trust that there will always be something fun and social to do. It's not just a place to live, it's a place to belong. To see what's happening this month, visit us on Facebook or online, fairwindsriversedge.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
It is 7:40 right now. We're going to check the weather forecast with Joe Lundberg here in a minute, but let's check in with Roger Brand now in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Financial and tax strategies. Again, the problem we're dealing with is on 70. That's the biggest headache right now. That crash on eastbound Highway 70. It's about midway between Mid Rivers and 370. Only the center lane's getting through eastbound because it's a tractor-trailer crash and a spin-out crash with it. The tractor-trailer through the median wall there, so left lanes are blocked both ways, but the eastbound jam goes back through 79 because of it. Westbound, the jam is between Cave Springs and 370 into that scene, so just be prepared. It may be a while if that thing's through the wall to get it out and get the wall repaired. They may have left lane closures for a good chunk of the morning, so just be prepared for that. Obviously, if you're on eastbound 64, you're still jammed Clarkson in through to 141. We had an earlier crash just west of 141. We got a new crash in the left lanes, westbound 64. No surprise, I guess, a spin out west of Boyle there. Pay attention as you get through Boyle, as you come around the bend. Those left lanes are closed. Just a short delay through there. And again, highways 64 east of the Boone Bridge, 270 north of 64. Eastbound 70 coming in from Wentzville, really just kind of off the pace because of road conditions being patchy all the way through there. 370 and 364 from the Missouri Rivers into 270 are, again, a little worse for wear, so they're just folks are taking their time. Again, roads are worlds better than they were yesterday afternoon, but there's still icy patches, so folks are going a little slower, and that's certainly fine. That's keeping the accident count to a minimum so far for us this morning. North 270, just some volume on the south side, coming up north of 55 up through 44, just kind of busy through there. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 west of the Ball to the Poplar, slow. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing your checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Hey, I wanted to address this real quick. Lawrence on our Facebook page wanted to know why we don't play the entire 8 minutes, sometimes 10, of CBS World News Roundup. For days like this, we concentrate on local, and we have a lot of things going on out there that are very important to pass along, including what Roger just gave right there. So that would be an example of that. Here is Joe Lundberg from the AccuWeather Center, and we have had some issues, and it's not getting great anytime soon, Joe, because of this frigid weather.
Yeah, this is a cold pattern that we're in, Tom, and we're going to see colder than normal weather really as far as the eye can see, probably through the first half of the month of December. So what we have on the ground right now is not likely to go anywhere anytime soon, and that's going to help to refrigerate these air masses as they come farther south and east into our area and keep them from modifying all that much. Clouds will break at times for some sun today, but it's only going to get back to about 30. Tonight will be partly cloudy, the low 22. More of a southwest breeze tomorrow. We start with some sun, then clouds increase, and ahead of another front, we'll sneak up to about 41, so a little bit of melting will take place tomorrow. But then behind that front, the bottom drops out. Temperatures Thursday, low to mid-20s, despite some sunshine, easily the coldest day that we've had so far this winter season. And Friday, we moderate back to 40 or so with some sunshine. Clouds up for Saturday, the high 30. And I could see how little snow falls from the sky at some point Saturday night or early Sunday. Right now, 22 at St. Peter's, and in Florissant, it's cloudy, 24 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It's 7:43. Experts are bracing for a surge in gambling addiction now that sports wagering is underway in Missouri.
Problem gambling doubled in New Jersey after the launch of sports betting there. St. Louis University's Dr. Jeremiah Weinstock is an addiction expert who studies sports betting. He says one of the biggest risk factors is a big win.
So you have an early big win and you're like, this is easy money. Let me just keep going. And then invariably they get into some financial troubles and then they start chasing. And so they're trying to get back to even, and they never can quite make it there.
Weinstock says that often spirals into making bigger and bigger bets and getting into financial trouble. He says he is optimistic about a state problem gaming support program funded by the industry. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Trump administration is reminding seniors open enrollment for Medicare ends Sunday. Dr. Mehmet Oz, the administrator for the Centers for Medicine, Medicare, and Medicaid Services, says all 69 million Americans who are eligible for coverage should check their options at Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE. Some premiums are rising, but others are dropping, and Medicare can now negotiate drug prices, which could bring costs down.
This year, for example, the medication prices actually dropped. The premium to enjoy Medicare Part D. Medicare Advantage got less expensive, but other parts of the program got more expensive. So you want to customize to yourself based on where your doctor practices, what plans they're in, what medications you're on, what's the best way to save money.
7:45. Blues lost 4-1 to the Ducks last night at Enterprise Center. Pulled Jordan Bennington in the first period, did Jim Montgomery, after giving up 2 goals. Bennington had some words for Monty as he headed to the locker room, did not come back. At intermission, the two talked it out, and Bennington returned to the bench, and all seems to be fine there. Now, Montgomery gave us some insight last night, talking to reporters about what he decides on when it comes to pulling a goaltender.
Yeah, well, for me, I've always looked at how I think where the goals came from, what the percentages of those goals should go in, and then also a lot of times you let goalies fight through it, but sometimes like when I feel that the goalie looks off, just like a player, I pull back his minutes. Unfortunately for a goalie, everybody knows that you're pulling them. You know, I sit Bucci or Thomas for 2 minutes. They don't play 19 minutes. They play 17 minutes. No one really notices.
Jim Montgomery and the Blues, they fall and miss a chance to win 3 straight games for the first time this season. Joel Quenneville's at it again. He's the head coach of the Ducks, and they lead the Pacific Division. The Blues are next to last in the Central, 3 points out of the second wild card spot in the Western Conference. College basketball, big schedule today. Let's start from the beginning. 6 o'clock tonight, SIUE at North Florida. 6:30, St. Mary of Woods at Southeast Missouri State. 7 o'clock tip for Lindenwood at Northern Illinois. Then it really gets interesting at 8. Mizzou, 8-0. They'll get a big test tonight at Notre Dame. It's an 8 o'clock tip-off in South Bend. SLU at Loyola Marymount tonight at 9. We will have that game on KMOX. Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. have the call with an 8:45 pregame. Last night, we had Monday Night Football, and it was a win for the New England Patriots. They've won 10 in a row. They're the first NFL team with 11 wins. They beat the Giants 33-15, and they may well have the NFL MVP at quarterback, Drake May. He was 24 of 31 passing for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's Tuesday, which means we'll get the new college football playoff rankings tonight. A lot of intrigue surrounding that leading into the conference championship games this weekend. Baseball, it was Ryan Helsley officially signing with the Baltimore Orioles, and Devin Williams, the St. Louisan, goes to the New York Mets. We'll have lots of baseball coverage today. Keep your eye on the Cardinals now. Chaim Bloom has given us a couple of clues. He's getting some calls. There's a lot of movement this week, and he anticipates some movement going into the winter meetings. It's where we are right now. The winter meetings start next week in Orlando. We'll be covering it with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. For right now, the Gas House gang is all over it. Bernie Miklasz will be with us at noon today. That has become a can't-miss show. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduced stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
This holiday season, experience the power, the intensity, the legendary sound of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Coming to Enterprise Center for 2 shows, December 23rd at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. A portion of the proceeds from the 3 p.m. show benefits Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, 2 shows, Enterprise Center, December 23rd. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:50. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our crash on. In fact, I'm looking at a different crash now, but it's still the same camera. They keep things keep popping up. But keeping tabs on 70 at 370, Scott, between 370 and Mid Rivers, eastbound and westbound restrictions there at the Spencer Road overpass where that semi went through the wall. Eastbound, really just the center lanes getting through. It's a solid jam back to 79. Westbound's jam between Cave Springs and 370. Left lane's closed as you head down the hill again past that Spencer overpass. But now the newest problem, really not blocking anything because it's spun out in the snow. Looks like a Jeep, a westbound 70, just west of the Mid Rivers on-ramp there. So again, it's not really blocking anything because it's either on the shoulder or in the traffic lane nobody's using there. Eastbound 64 looks a little better, but we're still backed up from Clarkson most of the way to 141. We had the earlier crash. Back to seeing that ramp backed up a crash. Just past Vallis as you merge onto eastbound 64, so the South 270 ramp is jammed there. North 270, the right lane's jammed midway up from Dorset to 70, getting onto westbound 70. That flyover ramp's a little dicey. Got a crash. Southbound 270 north of Gravois. It's jammed midway back to 44. Northbound Gawkers are slow back at the Sappington Road overpass, but not jammed. Northbound 55 down around 60-70. Got some roadwork delays. Doing better for Illinois drivers. I do see some delays on westbound 270, however, both sides of 159, westbound 5570, a little slow at 157, and westbound 64, again, better, just slow west of 3rd Street across the Poplar Street Bridge. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, it's just so cold that those roads that weren't pre-treated are still a problem, and we're going to have frigid temperatures all day today. A high of only 30 It'll be very cold. The clouds will break for some sun at times. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold, low 22. Tomorrow, we warm up a bit, a high of 41 with some sun. Thursday, partly sunny, much colder. A high Thursday, only 23. Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, not nearly as cold, and a high of 41. Saturday's high, 38. Currently, we have clouds. It's 21 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52.
If you're driving during a storm event, winter storm event, please slow down.
MoDOT's Tom Blair has some additional advice if you're involved in a minor traffic accident.
Or side off the road, please remember to be very thoughtful if you're going to leave your vehicle. I encourage you to actually stay in your vehicle, keep your seatbelt on, and call for help. But if you must leave your vehicle, please be very thoughtful about that, because the rest of the vehicles around you might not even be prepared for you to jump out, and we don't want anyone jumping out of their vehicle and getting struck by another vehicle.
He also recommends leaving 4 car lengths in front of you because it takes longer to brake in this weather.
Nearly 44% of the 16,000 truck driving programs in the U.S. may be forced to close if they lose their students after a review by the Federal Transportation Department found they may not be complying with government requirements. Separately, the Department of Homeland Security is auditing trucking firms owned by immigrants to verify their drivers are qualified to hold a commercial license.
The Transportation Department says it plans to revoke the certification of nearly 3,000 schools unless they can comply within the next month. Another 4,500 are being warned they could face similar action.
The Missouri Attorney General's office is requiring several smoke shops to give information about the sale of THC products that can get people sick and high. State Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says she has launched a statewide investigation into unregulated THC products containing the active ingredient in marijuana, which could be chemically altered and deceptively marketed.
My concern is that those are being sold in environments where there's no age verification, where there's no real disclosure about how strong these products are, that testing isn't reliable.
Early numbers suggest there was a strong Cyber Monday for retailers.
Adobe Analytics reports as of 6:30 Eastern Time Monday evening, Americans had already spent $9.1 billion online. That was up 4.5% from last year's Cyber Monday, and that was with another 5.5 hours to go in the Eastern Time Zone alone. Online spending was expected to peak between 8 and 10 p.m. local time, wherever that may be. Electronics and apparel, the top items. When the final tally's in, Adobe projects consumers will have spent between $13.9 and $14.2 billion for the day. Those numbers would make this Cyber Monday not only the biggest online shopping day of the year, but of all time. I'm Ben Thomas.
A big union in the fashion world.
It's a shopping spree fit for a devil who wears Prada.
Miranda? Took you long enough.
The Prada Group says it's purchased Milan fashion rival Versace for almost $1.4 billion. It'll put the fashion company, known for its sexy silhouettes, under the same roof as Prada's ugly chic aesthetic. The deal is expected to boost Versace's fortunes, allowing parent Capri Holdings to pay down post-pandemic debt. Donatella Versace welcomed the deal in an Instagram post, which also marks the birthday of her late brother Gianni, who founded the brand. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
It is 7:56, Total Information AM.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Well, they're really excited about this new community. McKelvey Homes introduces the Reserve at Wildwood, and I can see why. A premier development located on 50 acres at the southwest corner of Route 109 and 100 in the heart of Wildwood. This community offering a stunning collection of homes, 2-car, 3-car, designer series, designed with the high-quality craftsmanship and style that McKelvey Homes is known for. McKelvey Homes. They have been around for a long time, since 1898. You don't last that long unless you are the best at what you do. And 127 years of excellence. Thoughtfully planned. Families and outdoor lovers are going to love the Reserve at Wildwood, a private playground, rain gardens, walking trails, scenic green spaces, an active and connected lifestyle situated in a very much sought after area of West County, Wildwood, a charming suburban atmosphere with easy access to nature and recreation. McKelvey Homes, McKelveyhomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. Life happens. Accidents, deaths. Make your estate plan now, or the courts will decide for you later. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
How are the roads? Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have a jam, Tom, on eastbound 70, almost TR Hughes through Mid Rivers. Still the just center lanes open, eastbound, and the left lanes closed westbound where that semi went through the median wall. Eastbound 64 still backed up Clarkson to 141. That crash at the end of the ramp from 270 on to Ballas as the southbound ramp backed up. South 270 before Gravel. It looks like they may have cleared that crash. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I'm Scott Jagow, ahead on Total Information AM at 8:11. Some companies may be overlooking older employees as a valuable resource.
At 8:41, analysts are noticing an increase in buy now, pay later deals from Cyber Monday.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds breaking for some sun at times today, but quite cold, high only 30.
Coming up in CBS News, talks set to get underway this hour in Moscow between U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Vladimir Putin over a Russia-Ukraine peace plan.
And a new study finds kids who have smartphones by age 12 are at an increased risk of health problems.
That's Scott Jagow. I'm Tom Ackerman. Megan Lynch is coming up next, and the Gas House Gang is at noon.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Vicki Barker. U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff scheduled to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow this hour, carrying President Trump's revised peace plan for Ukraine. But as CBS's Remy Inocencio in London tells us, the portents are not promising.
We're hearing from the Kremlin a signal here that they are not willing to compromise on anything. The belief here from Vladimir Putin, we understand, is that he sees that any negotiations are a way of achieving its aims, Russia's aims in Ukraine, and that they are now winning on the battlefield.
For their part, the Ukrainians and many European leaders fear the final plan will reward Russia for invading Ukraine, something they say could set a dangerous precedent for the continent. Who ordered what and why? The White House is now acknowledging there was a second strike on a suspected Venezuelan drug smuggling boat, but is not saying the aim was to pick off wounded survivors. Former Attorney General Alberto Gonzales telling CBS Mornings why that matters.
The rules are clear that if you've got someone who does not pose a threat and is defenseless, that to summarily execute them without any kind of due process would be a violation of armed conflict.
In other words, a war crime. That winter weather that pummeled the Midwest is making its way east. Here's CBS News meteorologist Ashton Altieri.
On the north of it, it's going to be all snow for many of the northern states. But down south, we are looking at the potential for some icy conditions. That was particularly the case Monday night in places like Little Rock, Arkansas.
Some areas from New York State to Maine could see as much as a foot of snow.
The man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is back in court this morning. Luigi Mangioni's lawyers are asking a judge to exclude some evidence from his upcoming state trial, as CBS's Jerika Duncan reports.
Investigators say they discovered a notebook and 9mm handgun in Mangioni's backpack, key evidence his defense team is asking the court to suppress. They argue police did not have a search warrant and failed to read Mangione his Miranda rights.
Another study that suggests parents should severely limit their kids' access to smartphones.
The researchers analyzed data for more than 10,000 children who took part in a long-term government-funded study on brain development and child health. Lead author Dr. Ron Barzilay says 64% of those children had smartphones by the median age of 11.
They had more depression, more obesity, and less sleep or more insufficient sleep.
Barzilay says smartphones can help kids learn and strengthen their social connections, but parents need to think carefully before giving them one. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
And fashion giant Prada has officially bought Versace for $1.4 billion. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 22 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Tuesday, December 2nd. I'm Megan Lynch. A driver is dead after crashing into a fire truck during Monday afternoon's snowstorm in Jefferson County. The Missouri Highway Patrol says the 54-year-old Peevely man's pickup truck slid on the pavement and rotated. The driver's side door hit the rear of the fire truck. It happened on Interstate 55 north of Imperial, Maine.
We're working. They're doing what they can. They get things treated. They're getting plowed off the road as best they can.
But that wasn't enough to prevent hundreds of accidents and calls for service during yesterday's snowfall. MoDOT's Bob Becker admitted roads were covered in slick.
So why wasn't MoDOT more prepared? Well, Becker says the storm arrived earlier than they expected. So the big question now is, though, what will drivers encounter this morning?
People need to slow down. As Tom said, they need to slow down and be careful. Take their time. Leave yourselves plenty of room. Your cars don't react as they normally do in these situations whenever there's snow on the roadway. So please be careful. Watch out for our plows.
Becker says a new shift started Monday evening at 7 o'clock and that crews would work through the night to make sure the highways and roads are at least drivable. But be prepared for anything. If you're heading out early this morning, make sure you give yourselves that extra time. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
St. Louis City Police report they handled 111 traffic crashes during an 8-hour span Monday. 10 of them involved injuries. No traffic deaths reported in the city. The total number of calls for service during the height of the snowstorm, 415. Police say to use caution if you're traveling today and consider staying home if you are able. Following Friday's big abandoned warehouse fire, KMOX News is asking what happens to the redevelopment around that property.
What remains of the Crundon Martin building is just a skeleton of what once was, as some of the brick exterior still remains, but much of it is on the ground in a pile of rubble right now, covered by snow that has fallen, and some soft plumes of smoke still emanating from the rubble inside where the building was. Now, this was part of the Gateway South redevelopment vision from Millstone Capital Advisors, along with the Gateway South Development Group. And in a statement that I received from Millstone Capital, says that while it's too early to know the full extent of the damage or the long-term implications for the project, their commitment to the area and St. Louis has not changed. However, they did add in their statement that Crundon Martin was not only a cornerstone for their Gateway South vision, but a symbol of the city's ability to reinvent and reuse its historic fabric. Outside the Crundon Martin building, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Jefferson County Sheriff reports deputies arrested a suspect wanted in Monday morning's road rage shooting. 46-year-old Michael Quintana Betancourt is from Miami, now facing several charges, including armed criminal action for allegedly shooting another man in traffic. Deputies say Quintana Betancourt fired an AR-15 style firearm from the cab of his semi into the victim, who was also driving a tractor trailer. The man who was shot has non-life-threatening injuries. A new report explores what the state can do to help Illinoisans anxious about losing their SNAP benefits. WBBM's Mallory Vorbroker reports.
Under the federal changes to the food assistance program, the Civic Federation report found that the expansion of work requirements to adults ages 18 to 64 and reduced waiver flexibility will result in thousands of SNAP enrollees losing their benefits. Lily Padula, Policy and Research Associate at the Civic Federation, says Illinois will absorb the administrative cost of running SNAP.
In 2028, when the benefit cost sharing comes in, that's when we'll see a major increase, about $700 million per year for what we have to cover.
The report found the state has a dual challenge of needing to protect access to nutrition for hundreds of thousands of low-income adults, as well as manage its fiscal exposure in the years ahead.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, there will be layoffs at Yankee Candle. Correspondent Jesse Mitchell reports.
Newell Brands, the maker behind Yankee Candle and Sharpie, announced it's laying off more than 900 employees, or about 10% of its workforce. As part of the move to cut costs, the company says it will close roughly 20 Yankee Candle stores across the U.S. and Canada early next year. The layoffs are set to begin this month.
Still ahead on Total Information AM, companies may be overlooking older employees as a valuable resource. We'll have more on that. Plus, we'll get you the latest on the roads and the forecast in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. For 43 days, the left kept the government closed, holding the American people hostage and demanding radical policy changes, including free health care for illegal immigrants. However, thanks to strong Republican leadership, the Senate voted to reopen the government and put America first. I'm thrilled to return to Washington so I can continue to vote to help Missourians, to secure our nation's borders, and to cut wasteful spending. Visit onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THELOU. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THELOU in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It's 8:10. Let's see how things are rolling out there. Roger Brand has been watching all the problems. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the one we've had since early morning is still with us, Megan. The semi that jackknifed into through the median wall on 70 between Mid Rivers and 370. Left lane still closed both directions. Westbound is a short jam at 370, but eastbound's jammed east of TR Hughes into that scene. In fact, the left lanes are closed initially, and the right lane's headed up the hill. There was a couple of crashes there, so that's still quite a bit of a jam, obviously, on 70, especially eastbound. They cleared that crash just a moment ago. There was in the left lane, south 270 before Gravel. It's still a little busy both ways through there. That crash at the end of the ramp from 270 onto eastbound 64 in the snow, not blocking anything, but the ramp southbound still a little backed up. Northbound 270 at ramp still backed up a bit. Getting onto westbound 70 at flyover ramp could be a little icy right now. If you're traveling downtown, we look a lot better westbound coming across the Poplar, just slow Route 3 across the bridge. Eastbound 64, slow from Union Station up to the bridge, that elevated stretch again, where cold air can get under the driving surface, may be a little bit dicey. EMS responded for a crash 364 at Upper Bottom. Again, that one looks to be on the shoulder. Traffic's just a little slow going by it with police on the scene at that location. Eastbound 64, still slow east of the Boone Bridge all the way into 270, but that crash we had near 141 has been cleared. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a very cold day today as clouds break for some sun at times, the high 30. Partly cloudy, very cold tonight, though 22. Tomorrow, some sun will give way to clouds, not as cold in the afternoon, high 41. Thursday, partly sunny and much colder, high only 23. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is indeed cold out there. Cloudy skies, 21 degrees in Florissant, 22, both in St. Peters and downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Are businesses missing out on really great employees by overlooking people who are close to retirement age? I asked Alex Alonso, Chief Knowledge Officer for the Society for Human Resource Management, called SHRM, about this pool of talent.
I was really surprised to see that people who are basically what we would previously consider retirement age, 65, are still wanting to be in the workforce. Tell us a little bit about what you're encouraging businesses to do.
So it's fascinating because we see that there is a real kind of clash of several trends happening here, right? When you look at people who are 65 and older, they're the largest growing segment of the workforce, or the potential workforce in the U.S. And so what we see in particular is this is the group that most of us are going to have to rely upon if we want to fill the 170 million jobs that are out there today. In particular, what we see is a lot of employers haven't built in targeted programs. In fact, we see 93% of employers have not built in targeted programs either to recruit older workers or, more importantly, to take advantage of them and retain them in their workforce in many ways. And what we see in particular is this segment of the workforce is really a highly motivated segment of the workforce. About 80% of these individuals, or 88% of these individuals, say that they are focused and really looking to participate in and engage in their job and in their work. More importantly, what we see is they also bring a heavy willingness to learn and or to teach others. In fact, when you poll this audience, right, what we find more than anything else is 60% of them are interested in really learning about AI, not necessarily to preserve their jobs, but rather they're interested in learning about AI and being reintroduced into the workforce because it makes them more marketable. It's a whole new set of skills. It's a different dynamic, right? And so we see in part that this group is really the best kind of source for, one, identifying and upskilling people in new AI skills, but also two, really helping others come along and build that knowledge transfer that's necessary if we're going to take advantage of those second level managerial skills, the second level people skills, those power skills that really make people successful in that next step in their career.
So that leads me to the next question, because I'm wondering, for these individuals, are they just wanting to extend what maybe has been a really successful and satisfying career? Are they wanting to jump into something different at this age, maybe tapping into their retirement funds at the same time they want a little income on the side? I'm really curious what you're hearing.
So it's fascinating because we hear a little bit of both, right? If you ask HR professionals and HR leaders, what they're hearing is a little bit of both. They're seeing that there are older workers who want to tap into their resources, but at the same time want to take a career pivot or think about how they go about doing something completely new, different. Some of them are actually doing things in a way to unlock entrepreneurial opportunities for themselves, right? And think about this. You've got a different way of thinking about how you prompt AI. You've got a different way of thinking about how you take advantage of natural language processing skills, those kinds of things. So all of a sudden, you're bringing to bear a whole new different base of knowledge that wasn't really there in the development of a lot of these technologies. That's a whole different way of looking at it. At the same time, we're also seeing people that are saying, you know what, 65 may have been a really kind of more senior person back 20, 30 years ago. But today, that's middle of my life, right? That's midlife. So I want to keep going. I want to keep doing things and take advantage of the opportunities to learn things and really take advantage of a career that I've enjoyed. So it's a healthy mix of two.
Why do you think sometimes businesses don't tap into this age group?
I think part of the reason that we see this not really kind of taking hold is because we've taken a really kind of tried and true roles based way of looking at work, right? And over the last 30 years, we started to pivot that. And now, more seriously, employers are starting to pivot that because they are having trouble finding workers, even in an economy that is actually beneficial to them at this point in time, right? Whether we like it or not, it's a buyer's market right now. And what we're seeing is that a lot of what is happening is we're focusing on, I need the skill more than I need a worker, or I need specifically to fill a specific type of profession, if you will, right? And so all of a sudden, now we can go to a variety of different skill sets. I can go to a variety of different skill holders and say, you know what? This is something that I can plug and play, and allows me to tap into a whole new talent pool that I haven't tapped into intentionally before. I mean, it's so much so that 93% of employers admit they have not actually tapped into this pool formally, right? They're looking for ways to do it informally, but now they're looking for more ways to do it formally.
Are there concerns about the salary requirements or demands of people who may have a lengthy career already?
It's fascinating because we think that might be an issue, and we all come in with these myths around this is something that might be an issue, but in many ways you're actually going to get flexibility from this workforce as well, right? Because you even noted a good component of these individuals might be retired and re-entering and still tapping into their retirement funds. One of the other things that we see is this group is so focused on learning and making sure that they're transferring their knowledge, that they see the opportunity to try something new, different, and novel. And they bring a wealth of experience with them that says, I know that my compensation is tied, more importantly, to my performance, to my skill set, and to what I can bring to bear in the workplace. So these demands that you might expect from a variety of generational perspectives really don't hold water in many cases.
Talk more about that institutional knowledge that someone who has had decades in a workplace brings.
Well, I'll give you a prime example of this, right? One of the things that we hear over and over again when it comes to, for instance, AI and automation and displacement, right? One of the things that we hear is that first level jobs are going away. And first level jobs are the jobs where most of us develop that kind of skill that or the sets of skills that really make us professional in some way, right? I know that I came out of school and in many ways I thought I was ready for a job, but you know what? I couldn't manage a budget. I couldn't interact with humans. And Lord knows my daughters and my wife to this day say that I should probably not be allowed around other humans unless I bring an encyclopedia of statistics with me, right? But one of the things that stands out is it was that first job that I got out of school that said, okay, or out of even just my first career that said, okay, this is the skill set I need to really be a power skills kind of user, someone who could translate information to others, someone who could take information from others and turn it into something actionable. All those things are the things that are going to end up going away with that first level job if it's displaced in many ways, right? So how do we help new entrants into the workforce actually do that or build those skill sets? One of the best ways that you can go about that is by creating what they call a reverse kind of mentorship, where you take somebody who is re-entering the workforce and has been in the workforce for decades and get them to teach those skills, impart that kind of skill set to newer entrants of the workforce or people who are really in their first kind of line manager role. All those things are ways in which we can kind of short circuit this notion that everyone's job and all those skills are going to go away because of displacement and those types of things. That's a prime example of that.
That is Alex Alonso with the Society for Human Resource Management joining us this morning on Total Information AM. Coming up on the show, we are going to talk with Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cordes, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff traveling to Moscow to discuss a possible end of the war in Ukraine. That's coming up at 8:31. And then at 8:41, there's a big increase in people using buy now, pay later over the holidays. We're going to talk about that with Bankrate financial analyst Stephen Cates, who is also a certified financial planner. It's now 8:20, and we need to update you on what's happening on the roads because it's been a rough morning in some spots. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got those left lanes shut down each direction on 70 east of Mid Rivers, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company because of that jackknife semi that went through the wall. Eastbound 70 is a solid jam. Approaching 79, westbound's backed up at 370 into that scene. There's a crash eastbound 70 at Wentzville Parkway, mostly on the shoulder, but there's also a crash right alongside it on the South Service Road just west of the Parkway. So a little bit of a backup eastbound 70 coming into that one. The ramp north 270 to westbound 70, there's still a backup there. There's a crash westbound 270 west of 159. Traffic's jammed midway between 55 and 159 on westbound 270 right now. Up to that one, looks like they're getting that one cleared. And then we still have a crash eastbound 364 at Upper Bottom. It's slow back at 94 Mugi. There's also one eastbound 64 at the exit to Maryville Center. 64 is still slow from West Along Road through that area, but it goes all the way into 270 and east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt, still busy after that. At Penn Mutual, we believe that life insurance is a central part of a sound financial plan and that it can make an enduring impact for generations to come. Talk to your independent advisor or go to PennMutual.com/STL. Penn Mutual, trusted for life. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Another very cold day. We may see some sunshine today, a high of 30, partly cloudy and cold tonight with a low of 22. And that's where we sit now, cloudy 22 downtown at the Arch.
I get asked a lot on when's the best time to buy a furnace or an air conditioner. And my response always is, it's with us, it doesn't really matter. I don't mark your prices up because it's cold or it's hot. But with the tax credit that's expiring at the end of the month of December for 2025 and 0% interest on all of our products right now. So you get 0% through the month of December on the majority of what we offer you, furnaces or air conditioners or both. That's a big savings to you. It makes it really, really affordable, not just because it's Christmas or anything like that. It's just if you can eliminate interest, that's a lot of money a month that you save. So if you're in a need for a furnace or a furnace and air, call me. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or Bart Inman, that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. Merry Christmas and God bless.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for. From smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The White House says a Navy admiral ordered a second strike on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean Sea and insists the September attack was lawful. The statement came after lawmakers from both parties cited a published report that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth issued a verbal order for a second strike that killed survivors on the boat. Members of both parties announced support for congressional reviews of those military strikes against vessels suspected of smuggling drugs. Odyssey's Alex Silverman has more.
Let's bring in Benjamin Rad, a foreign affairs and legal expert at UCLA. And I want to ask you about the second strike on the suspected drug boat. But I want to take a step back first because some people might have missed on Thanksgiving the president speaking to troops, saying very definitively strikes on land in Venezuela are coming very soon. Help us understand what's driving this possible strike in Venezuela to a head now.
Well, what we've noticed with the president in matters of foreign policy in particular, whenever he feels he's cornered, usually because of political or legal constraints, he tends to double down in the direction of whatever action he's pursuing, whatever the policy is. In this instance, it is a informal or undeclared war really against Venezuela. And by that, I mean, there was no formal act that went through Congress asking for a declaration of war. And so under these situations, the president has, under the War Powers Resolution, the ability to conduct limited strikes and engage in limited duration of warfare.
And when you say limited strikes, that's up for interpretation, right?
It can be, and it has been. And mind you, this is a president who campaigned on the promise of no new wars and has proudly stuck to the fact that under his 2 terms so far, he has not been responsible for any boots on the ground with respect to U.S. servicemen and women fighting overseas. In fact, he claims that he's ended wars. So this goes contrary to that, and he would have to justify it on the basis of a real danger and a threat to American citizens. In other words, is this a defensive measure? Is this a preemptive or preventative measure? And that is where this gets complicated. It hasn't been presented. There's no clear accounting for what the president sees as the threat that necessitates the deployment of troops on the ground and the kind of warfare we've been seeing using gunships to fire on boats in the Caribbean.
One thing they do continually point to is these ships that they say are carrying drugs. And we now know that the defense secretary personally ordered this second strike on survivors of one of them. What does that tell us about what the rules of engagement are here?
Essentially, what's happening now is they're firing on unarmed, what appears to be unarmed persons in a boat. And under international law, there has to be a demonstration that these persons demonstrated or posed a threat, an imminent threat or a possible threat, that they're involved in either planning or carrying out some act that would harm the United States or the sovereignty or territory of the United States. Now, again, because the videos that we've seen have been selectively edited, it's difficult to ascertain that in fact the case. The administration's posture has been that these boats represent, that they're smugglers, that they represent a threat to American lives and American safety, and therefore that's all the justification needed.
Benjamin Radd, foreign affairs legal expert from UCLA. Thank you very much for your perspective.
And coming up on Total Information AM in just about 3 minutes, we're going to give you an update on the road so you can make your way safely into work. It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
We're celebrating number 4 and number 5. Let me hear you on your feet as loud as you can get.
There, when we said goodbye.
Today, we recognize two of the most beloved players in Cardinals history, in Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols.
Both of you have given so much joy as we watched you play this great game.
I want to thank the Wheat family and Mo for believing in me all these years and give me the opportunity to play baseball here in St. Louis.
And to all you, Cardinal Nation, thank you so much for all your support, all the joy, all the tears that we have shared together.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. Join the team trusted here since 1926. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. We will train motivated applicants to repair and install garage doors. Mechanical, carpentry, and service industry experience is a plus. Hiring bonus up to $4,000. Benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in St. Louis. Apply today at OverheadDoorSt.Louis.com.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Nick, what are you doing? Well, Adam, Thanksgiving is over, so it's officially time for the holidays. And it's time for our Legacy Box Cyber Monday sale. Legacy Box is the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season. It's simple, safe, and has been trusted by millions.
That's right. It's our best sale of the year. Right now, when you go to legacybox.com, you can save an unreal 65% on your Legacy Box.
And for a limited time, you can preserve your tapes, film reels, and photos for as low as $27, saving you hundreds.
Hurry, our best sale of the year won't last long. Visit legacybox.com for an unreal 65% off during our Cyber Week sale. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast.
Shop our Cyber Week sale now at legacybox.com/value to take 65% off. Buy your Legacy Box today and send in when you're ready. legacybox.com/value.
8:30, time to check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, this traffic report's the service of Pine Valley Assisted Living. We still have our issues on the highways. The main one, of course, has been with us a good chunk of the morning is the crash on 70 between Mid-Rivers and 370. The eastbound and westbound stretches are impacted by it because the left lane's closed where that tractor trailer jackknifed through the median wall. So not as much of a backup. Obviously, westbound 70, there's just a short delay coming down the hill from 370, but eastbound's a solid jam back at 79. They're still working the crash 364 upper bottom. Looks like maybe the left lane blocked a little bit of a backup there. Still that one eastbound 70 right at Wentzville Parkway. That was mostly on the shoulder, but there's also one on the south service road adjacent to it. So there's slow traffic. Not quite midway back to David Holcomb Parkway. They're clearing a crash eastbound 64 at the exit to Maryville Center. That flyover ramp north 270 to westbound 70, still seeing a backup there. And we still have this jam on the Illinois side, westbound 270, midway from 55 into 159. The crash they were trying to clear was just west of that point. A next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looking for a beautiful, all-inclusive place for your loved one? Happy holidays from Pine Valley Assisted Living. Secure a room between now and January 31st and take advantage of our move-in special. Enjoy affordable rates with absolutely no hidden fees. Experience the beautiful life at Pine Valley. Visit rspseniorliving.com today.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, very cold today. Clouds will break for some sun at times, a high of 30. Partly cloudy cold tonight, a low of 22. Right now we have clouds 22 degrees downtown at the Arch. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff due to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow today about bringing an end to the nearly 4-year war in Ukraine. Let's bring in CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, any sense that Russia will accept any part of the plan that's been proposed?
Well, if you just look at how things have gone so far, they haven't publicly signed on to anything yet, haven't signed on to making any compromises. They have been open about the fact that they liked the original 28-point plan that was widely viewed as being more pro-Russian, and in fact, even had some European leaders saying that it looked like it was authored by the Russians. We understand that that plan has now undergone some changes to make it much more palatable to the Ukrainians, and so that, of course, in turn makes it less likely that the Russians are going to like it. So we'll see how these talks go.
Yeah, because of what I understand, we don't really know everything that remains in that plan at this point, including decisions on how territory will be allocated.
Exactly. That's something we've been asking over and over again. But, you know, in the natural course of negotiations, they're typically not going to say, here's exactly how the plan has changed, because everything is up for negotiation and everything can change. But that's obviously a major sticking point for the Ukrainians. They are not willing to lawfully hand over territory to the Russians, territory that belongs to the Ukrainians, that they say was gained by force by the Russians over the course of this 3-year invasion.
Nancy, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
You got it.
That is CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joining us this morning here on KMOX.
This is Amy Mark Scores, chair of this year's Red Kettle campaign. Christmas reminds us of the challenges faced by our neighbors in need, basic needs we sometimes take for granted. When you give with joy to the Salvation Army, you transform lives. You put food on the table and provide warm beds. You give veterans and seniors purpose. You help a child experience the joy of Christmas. And 90 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to critical social services. Bring joy to the world today. Visit salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Cyber Monday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Cyber Monday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's 8:34, and your money report is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's John Tucker.
The holidays are here, filled with laughter, family, and memories. But if you're missing the punchline, the conversation, or even the music, it might be time to check your hearing. Hi, I'm Charlie Brennan.
I'm Dr. Bosler with the Audiology Center.
And I'm Dr. Voss. This season, we want you to hear every moment.
Hearing aids today can process sound faster than before. They're smarter at separating the speech from the background noise, meaning that when you're at the holiday parties this season, you'll hear the voices that you want to hear, clearer than before.
So don't wait until the new year. Give yourself the gift of better hearing today and reconnect with the people and the moments that matter most.
Call the Audiology Center, 636-441-7470, or online, theaudiologycenterstl.com. 3 convenient locations.
Call us today and make this holiday season better than last year's. Here for the holidays, here for life.
Companies are betting that bonuses will persuade their employees to use artificial intelligence at work. IBM is among firms that are paying cash, awarding points, or doling out merch to expand adoption of AI across their businesses. After collectively investing billions of dollars into AI systems, companies are facing a human problem. Some employees are reluctant to use the technology. Amazon.com planning to offer deliveries of hundreds of household items within 30 minutes in a test program. Those household items include some fresh groceries and over-the-counter medicines. And after yesterday's sell-off ahead of the cash open on Wall Street, futures do indicate a higher open. Power demand from U.S. data centers is set to surge to 106 gigawatts by 2035, up from just 41 gigawatts this year. That forecast represents a 36% jump from Bloomberg's previous outlook. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your holiday with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. For your inner child and your grown-up cravings, the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. An alarming rise in cases of breast cancer among young women. A new study finding nearly a quarter of all breast cancer cases occurred among women aged 18 to 49. Luigi Mangione back in court for the second day of a hearing in his bid to bar New York prosecutors from using evidence they say links him to last year's killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. And a new report by the United Nations Development Program urging governments to focus more on how artificial intelligence technologies might impact people already disadvantaged in a data-driven world. The latest on the roads now from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change, Megan, on Highway 70 between Mid Rivers and 370. Left lane still closed both directions where that semi-jackknife through the median wall. A shorter backup, obviously, westbound. First of all, westbound 70 is a crash just west of 94 with injuries. So there's a little jam there, and then it's backed up 370 to the semi-crash scene. And eastbound 70, that's the bigger jam. It's jammed at Highway 79 up through that Mid Rivers area. Eastbound 70 is also kind of slow from A in through Lake St. Louis Boulevard. 64 is still slow east of the Boone Bridge. All the way in through Maryville Center. They were clearing a crash at the exit there. Westbound 64, McCausland through Hanley, and then McKnight out through Spady's kind of slow. If you're on the Illinois side, you've still got this jam on westbound 270 west of 55 through 159. The crash is west of there. That's pretty solid bumper to bumper. Downtown starting to see a little jam. Eastbound 44, 55 headed up to the Poplar. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. Has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo at Hannaford. It's got twang.
We do have a chance to see a little bit of sun today, but probably cloudy for much of the day. Cold as well with a high of 30. Partly cloudy and cold tonight, a low of 22. And then tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, not quite as cold, a high of 41. Right now, cloudy skies, 22 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. I saw an interesting story yesterday about our holiday shopping habits, and I wanted to dig a little deeper. Adobe Analytics says more shoppers are expected to turn to those buy now, pay later plans this holiday season. In fact, buy now, pay later loans are expected to drive $20.2 billion in online spending this holiday season. That's up 11% from last year. And Adobe even predicted that buy now, pay later loans could pass a new $1 billion milestone from Cyber Monday alone, the vast majority involving purchases made on mobile devices. I reached out to Bankrate financial analyst Stephen Cates. He's a certified financial planner to get his take on all of this. Stephen, thank you so much for your time this morning.
My pleasure.
What do you make of this?
Well, I think it's a common way to do it, and it's really pretty easy and seamless when you order anything online. So it's not too big of a surprise that more and more people are starting to use these as payment options.
Do we think of this like the layaway of the past that people did for the holidays?
I think that's a good way to think about it. Buy now, pay later can be a good deal if you use it responsibly. It provides access to credit. It can smooth out your payments over time. I think a lot of people like that, the idea that they can pay in 4 installments instead of all at once, spread that out over a few months and kind of ease that holiday burden. But it can lead to overspending. That's the danger zone, is when people do what a lot of buy now, pay later companies call loan stacking, where they get multiple loans at the same time for various products, and that can become problematic.
If you do stick to the terms, is it better sometimes than using a credit card?
Well, it means that you can pay over a longer period of time than you would be on a credit card. A credit card, you're going to be paying within that next billing cycle, so 30, 45 days, depending on when that purchase takes place. With buy now, pay later, you've usually got that over about 4 months. So that is a benefit when you do pay those on time. If you don't, the interest rates are usually going to be even higher than credit cards. So you can get into a bit of a dangerous situation.
I was going to ask that about the penalties if they stack up pretty quickly for non-payment.
Yeah, so what you're going to deal with is, interest rates on late payments. I think there's some data that we've seen from even our own surveys earlier in the year that, people are showing that they are getting into trouble on occasion. 30 to 40% of people have said that they have made a late payment on a buy now, pay later transaction. And that's a lot of people. So, it doesn't necessarily mean that, everybody is doing this every time, but it's happened at least once in the survey data that we've collected. And that is a troubling statistic, as people get a little bit tighter around the holidays, or, the economy potentially weakens a little bit going into next year, those numbers could rise.
Are you concerned at all, Stephen, that, for example, people are using this option because they're a little more strapped this year, and that could, by the beginning of next year, cause some issues?
Yes, I think that is a big concern. I think that these are easy ways to try to get a product today and kind of worry about how you pay for it later. Again, if you use this responsibly, if you know that you've got the cash in your account to pay for this, just as you should with a credit card transaction, you shouldn't use a credit card or a buy now, pay later option if you don't know if you can pay for it. That's the right thing to do, is, use this as a cash flow management system, but still make sure that you've got the money there to pay for it. That's how you do this responsibly. When you don't know where that money's going to come from to pay for it, that's when people can get into trouble. And that's certainly in a bit of a high pressure environment like the holidays and people feel pressured to buy products, certainly products that are a little bit more expensive than they were last year, that can be a problem. And we may start to see some delinquencies, and we may start to see some credit impacts come next year, because those are now being incorporated into credit scores.
Okay, because they weren't at first, were they?
They were not. This is only very recently, and that data is only available to the credit score agencies. So consumers are not seeing that on their credit scores at this point. That's being collected. It's being tested. It's part of sort of the new versions of what these scores will become, but it is being used. And so it's something that people need to be aware of, that this isn't just a freebie. That if you make a mistake, or you pay late, or you have a delinquency, that you sort of skate by, which was the circumstance in the past. These are being incorporated into credit scores, and so it's something that people need to be aware of.
Stephen, thanks so much. Really appreciate you joining me this morning.
My pleasure.
That is Stephen Cates, Bankrate financial analyst, certified financial planner, with us here on KMOX. Coming up, we're going to look at scores for our schools in Missouri. It's 8:47.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. ski team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
After a disaster, emotional recovery takes time. Show Me Hope Missouri is here for you with free, confidential support. Counselors help with stress, coping skills, and connect to resources. If the St. Louis tornado impacted you, visit moshowmehope.org from Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Red Kingdom is back at FanDuel Sports Network Live in Ballpark Village. See every game on the largest screen in town. Don't forget about the $25 buckets, $5 cocktails, and the best tailgate food around. Grab your friends along with KMOX and huddle up for the games at the best watch party in town. If you can't make it, but don't want to miss it down, listen to the Chiefs on KMOX or KMOX on the Odyssey app. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
This is Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Missouri's K-12 public schools have received their annual report cards. The reports tell schools how they're doing overall in terms of performance. Elisa Nelson of MissouriNet talks with State Education Commissioner Carla Esslinger, who says Missouri's schools are gradually improving.
What is involved in the formula to determine each school's performance grade?
There are several what we call performance indicators that we have identified over, the last, I think MSEP 6 came into play maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Of course, you guys know that I've been with the department a little bit over a year. But they have identified these things that if we measure these things and show progress on these things, we will probably be able to improve the experience that we are providing our kids in the educational system. So the things that we look at are everything from your language arts and your math and science and social studies, all those kind of content, subject, academic areas. We look to see how our school districts are doing on those assessments. And then we also look at some other things that we call like growth measures. Like, have we improved? How much growth has occurred in the last year, from one year compared to another? There's also other performance indicators like rate of attendance or graduation rate or the number of assessments that they provide kids to have an understanding of, maybe kindergarten assessment or literacy pieces, things like that. It's not just academic. It has a lot of other what we consider to be performance things that, if you do those well, and it also lead to quality programs.
That's some good background. So let's talk about the latest report. So this is for 24-25 school year. What are some of the highlights, Dr. Esslinger?
Well, what we're seeing is MSEP 6, which is the Missouri School Improvement Program overall, has been in place for the last 3 or so years. And when we first introduced MSEP 6, there was a pretty drastic drop in the performance scores of our school districts because, frankly, the way in which these items were measured and some of the other aspects of the report were made more rigorous so that the points weren't as easy to attain, I guess you would say. What they had seen, and part of the reason that they wanted to make a change was because back in the day, it appeared that many of our school districts were really knocking the top off that particular assessment. And so that adjustment to MSEP 6, there was a significant number of schools that reduced their APR scores. They dropped. And what I'm seeing, as far as when I look out across the last few years and this year included, is I'm seeing a slow, although maybe small, but it's a slow, steady progress in the right direction. Basically, what we're seeing more and more of our public schools are able to meet or exceed the expectations that are outlined in the annual performance report. So it's a steady gain. It's in the right direction. And so we love to encourage it and be able to highlight when we see success, obviously.
And I think your report shows more than 92% of students attending public schools are meeting or exceeding the state's expectations compared to 86% in the previous year's report. Does that sound right?
That does sound correct. That's the data that was given to me as we look through this, yes. And, the thing about meeting expectation is that the school districts have received a 70 or better on this annual performance report, which means they're fully accredited. So meeting the standard means that you would, if we are accrediting or not accrediting, whatever it is, it would be considered fully accredited. So I think that's a pretty good deal.
And just to be clear, this performance report, it's not being used to accredit them this time around, right? That's a whole state law thing?
That's actually there is a statute around usage of pilot data to raise or lower an accreditation for a school district. And our pilot data was in 22 when we first rolled out the new MSEP piece. So the composite scores have to be 3 years, 2 3-year composites. So that still to this current year, we have 22 data in that calculation. Now, next year is when we have our actual 2 3-year composites that we'll have the opportunity to raise or if we need to lower accreditation.
What happens to the other 8% that are not meeting or exceeding expectations? And then we've got, I think 17 charter schools that also fall within that category, maybe?
Mm-hmm. And that's something when I first came into this work that I was noticing is that I want to be able to really and truly address those particular challenges that those schools that fall within the 70 or less, when you look at the scores, if they're below 70, what is it that we're doing as a department to support them and to help them to address these challenges? And there's a few things that are going on here at the department. One, I am meeting with school districts, directly and having conversations with their leadership about here you are, is there something that we need to be aware of? Is there something we can do to help? And it really encouraged them to get their community involved and have an understanding of what the expectations are so that they can be able to address these things that we consider to be shortfalls in their performance. Alicia, we're also just the first time that the state has ever done this, but I think it's long overdue. And we need to be able to bring folks in and say, okay, historically, some of these districts have had low performance for many years, and it's not new. It's something that I knew back when I was in the classroom years ago. But we need to finally just have open dialogue about why, what's going on, what can we do to improve these systems.
That is Missouri Education Commissioner Dr. Carla Essinger speaking with Missouri Net's Elisa Nelson. Make sure you join us tomorrow morning during the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about the K-shaped economy, the difference kind of between the haves and the have-nots, with our KMOX business analyst, Jerome Katz. Checking that forecast for today, it's going to continue to be cold today. Clouds are going to break for some sun at times. Expect a high near 30, partly cloudy and cold tonight with a low of 22. And then tomorrow we will see a little more sunshine, but not as cold, fortunately, a high 41 degrees. We do have cloudy skies now, 21 degrees in Florissant, 22 in St. Peter's, 22 downtown at the Arch. And we've got another check of the roads for you coming up here on KMOX.
Some confusion with what went wrong with the highways yesterday as a snowstorm rolled through. We're expecting an update from MoDOT today. Also, we're going to talk to Colonel Jeff McCausland, and Rob Rains will discuss the Cardinals offseason with us. All that and more coming up on the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. We're next.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Weekend catch-up sleep is good for your heart. Weekday demands may make getting the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep impossible. In that case, sleeping in when you're able might help your heart. Chinese researchers say